An old friend returns to the Global SimRacing Channel for what has now become tradition. That's right, race fans, the Bootleg Racing League is back. The Outlaws have broken in and want to steal the honor of being a champion tonight. Fall has started and the Bootleg Racing League is 5 years old now. It's time to celebrate live, right now. Hello and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel's presentation of the Bootleg Racing League's 3rd annual champion shootout from Southern National Motorsports Park. Up in the press box to bring you all the action tonight, yours truly, Sean Ambrose, and my partner this evening, Nicholas Schmeek. In the director's chair over there, Joe Peak, twisting and tweaking the dials for us tonight. Armed with cameras located, aimed, and zoomed, focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. Now, let's get ready over these next few minutes as GSRC will bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the simulated SK modified racing that is coming your way, folks. And Nick, Southern National Motorsports Park, we're going to get to watch the daylight turn to night here in the virtual world. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this joint?
Oh yeah, no problem, Sean. I am very excited about tonight's race. We have a very great and very fast at that cast of characters tonight to take on Southern National Motorsports Park. It's a small 0.4 of a mile track located in North Carolina, 17 degrees of banking in the turns, 7 on the straightaways. It's going to feel like that very nice old school classic Saturday night short track vibes coming at you. Can't get much better than that. One of the things that makes this track unique to me is how it is so banked in the turns. It feels real fast in these cars. There's a little bit of a high line for sure, and that's going to create more than just some single file racing. But don't let that fool you. We are still going to see the classic bump and run. Southern National Motorsports Park, in real life, home to many greats. Scott Riggs, Denny Hamlin. They love to venture out to these tracks in North Carolina and Virginia, and it should be a great one. Allow me now to send you to the GSRC lap guide for tonight so that you can get a more in-depth look at what to expect for tonight's action.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Brian Yazik and this is Southern National Motorsports Park and the GSRC SK Modified. Without further ado, let's show you how you get around this joint. Hot lap, looking to find the bottom right here. No other place to run. Hook that bottom right off of turn 2, swing it right out here to the fence, and then back down into turn 3. This track is a nice little short track, doesn't give you a whole lot of time to think. You just kind of have to drive this place on instinct. But if you do make a mistake, there is a lot of banking, as you can see right up there, that will catch you in case you have a mistake, unless that's off the bumper of the competitor around you. Then that wall will be waiting for you up there. But turns 3 and 4, find it right there underneath the start-finish line, back into turn 1. It's a very, very rhythm-based track. Once you get a good rhythm around here, you're fairly unstoppable, even to the point that I set my personal best time here on the 4th lap on the track. Really, as you're going to watch these guys go, this track is so good for racing. I mean, especially if you're up there on that second groove, you might be able to get a good run off of the corner and try to pinch them down, whoever you're racing against, off of the corners. Southern National Motorsports Park is bound to put on a good show for these SK Modifieds as the race progresses on. But without further ado, I'm Brian Yazik. This is the GSRC SK Modified. Enjoy the show.
Brian Yazik taking us around Southern National Motorsports Park and doing it in a real bad, fast way, too. Listen, we got to talk about the race details this evening because there's a lot going on, and we got to make sure we get it all in. Now, they're in the middle of warm-up right now. As soon as warm-up's done at the top of the hour, we're going to go straight to qualifying. Okay, now what does qualifying do? Well, okay, it's going to set the splits and the grids for the heat. It's also for the LCQ races and the top 2 grid positions for the feature. So your top 2 fastest times when we get to qualifying here in just a few minutes are going to set the top of the grid for our final race of the evening. Now, then we'll have the first heat, a little warm-up session there, and the odd number qualifiers are inverted to set that grid. And it sets the odd number grid positions for the feature also. The top 3 non-champions make the feature. Now, we'll talk about the champions, the past champions that are eligible here in a few minutes. The first heat will be 20 laps. No cautions, no tire changes, no fast repairs. Random weather, and, they'll have a 10% track state to start in under the afternoon skies. Now, Heat 2 is going to be pretty much same format, except the even number qualifiers are going to invert to set the grid, and they will set the even number grid positions for the feature. Again, the top 3 non-champions make the feature. Okay, the same format with the laps, 20 laps, no cautions, no tire changes, no fast repair, random weather. The track state settings will, in fact, be 12% to start that session. Then we get to the last chance qualifier, and if they need it, if they get into a situation where they need it, it's a 10-minute warm-up session. The remaining non-champions only get to start, and the grid will be set by their qualifying times. There's no inversion of that. The top 2 from the LCQ will also make the feature. And that race the same, 20 laps, all the same circumstances, except they'll start with a 14% track state. Then we get to the feature. 20 minutes of warm-up for that, thereabouts. It will be 125 laps tonight here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Restarts will be double file, lap cars to the rear. The leader controls the start and the restart in turn 4 after the pace car is completely off the track. The lucky dog is on. Again, no tire changes. We'll talk about that in a moment. 1 fast repair in that feature race. And same thing with the weather. It'll be random. Now, the track state will be 15% to start that. They'll clear the marbles off the track. But this will be a night session. So we'll go from afternoon to late afternoon and then a night session for the feature. So the drivers will have to, in fact, manage the conditions of this this track throughout the champion shootout today. And, I've got to ask you, Nick, 125 laps, Southern National Speedway. It's really hot on track right now. In fact, it's 121 degrees. If it stays that hot going into the evening, I don't know if it will, but buddy, good luck keeping those tires fresh for 125.
Yeah, that's not going to be too much fun, I don't think, for these drivers. Let me tell you what, I am glad I am up here in the booth with you instead of being in one of those cockpits tonight. We do expect the temperature to drop as it gets darker and we venture into the night, but it's going to get more rubbered in, and no tire changes in 125 laps. Not going to be too much fun unless you like slipping and sliding around in the turns.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about fuel in these modifieds. You start with a full tank, and quite honestly, on most of the bull rings of the Northeast and down the Eastern Seaboard, you can run for about close to 200 laps on a tank. So this is only a 0.4 of a mile track, so they've got plenty of fuel to get to the end. That'll never be an issue. That fast repair could save you. Now, unfortunately, if you find yourself getting caught up in something under a green flag and you don't get a caution, you'll lose those laps here, and you'll lose them quick, because any time in the pits under a green here is a mess, and you'll lose at least 3 to 4 laps just by nature of having to come in. So chances are we'll probably see some caution flags tonight. But hey, listen, a lot of experience with the Bootleg Racing League from the past, and we've seen a lot of green to checker races before, and I think we've got a great chance to see that tonight. Again, I'm a little surprised to see 120 degrees on track. That's really, really hot. It could be a big factor in this qualifying session that's coming up, Nick.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to be experienced to know how to get around a track that hot. One of the things I remember when I was really little going to a short track race up at my local short track, seeing the modifieds for the first time as a small child, I was just amazed at how big these tires were rolling into a corner, and those tires and a lot of high heat don't always get along.
What's your local track there, Nick?
Chemung Speedrome in Chemung, New York.
Chemung.
That's good old...
home of the Bodines.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
There's a little local shout-out for my guys there.
All right. And my local short track, Riverhead Raceway, out on Long Island, New York.
Not too far.
And and we saw the Bodines run there quite a bit back in the early 70s and the late 60s. So tonight, though, it's the drivers of the Bootleg Outlaw Modified Series and the Bootleg Racing League in general. All you had to do is be a champion in one of their series, whether it had been the super late models or the late models or even the modifieds, and you were eligible for this tournament. So everybody here tonight, we've got 17 drivers registered for the session, and I'm looking forward here to see what goes down in qualifying. They're turning 14, low 14s right now, and as I look back through the best times in the field, it looks like the top 4 right now all in that same range. Everybody else kind of falls in behind them, but nobody's separated by any more than 0.3 of a second, and that's not much.
That's a competitive field right there. Everyone's going to be fighting to get to the front tonight.
Now, okay, we've ignored the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and he's going to probably not appreciate that I just referred to him as the 800-pound gorilla. But J.R. Shepard's here, and you know what? Why don't we look at the past champions now so we get an idea who's in the field tonight? But J.R. Shepard's here, and well, he's got 18 of those championships, and well, let's just say he's everybody's favorite. He's even the drivers, his competitors' favorite tonight to take this all from everyone. Donnie Moore with 12 of those. Donnie, listen, Donnie is a salty driver, and right now has the fastest time in practice. If there's one guy in this field who has a legitimate shot to give J.R. Shepard trouble this evening, it's probably Donnie Moore. Matt Hoos even himself, 9 of those for him, and Mike Holloway with 3 championships now. Matt Shinoski's picked up a couple along the way. Lowell Jewell got one way early back. I believe it was in season 1. Tim Shinoski, that's Matt's brother. He got himself one, and Kenny Kibbe has got one there, and I believe Kenny Kibbe dates back to that first season as well. So good congratulations to them. But they are all eligible. They were all invited, and Kenny Kibbe is here. And I was looking. Do you see Matt Shinoski in there anywhere? I don't see him in there tonight.
No, not as of now.
Tim's here, but I don't see Matt. So maybe Matt will check in here at some point. I didn't even mention Matt LaVenture. I skipped over Matt. I didn't even say his name. Matt LaVenture, of course, one of those champions as well, but not seeing him here either this evening. So we are short a Matt and short a Tim. So anyway, but again, a good field. A few new names here since the Bootleg Outlaw Series was with GSRC last. Chris Passini from New York, and let's see, Todd Liston, Indiana native. Who else don't I recognize? Let's see, Ben Eisinger. We've got a Canadian in the field here this evening, and James Lowe, Mark Herzog, California driver stepping in the SK Modified. Sarah Maria Spiller, we were talking about this in the pre-race. Sarah, I believe, joined the last in season 4 of 2017, if I remember correctly. But we welcome all the drivers here tonight, and with just about a minute and a half before qualifying, it's a good day for racing here at Southern National. Some different paint jobs, but some familiar faces. Donnie Moore in that ASPCA Irwin Tools SK Modified, different colors, different look, black wheels now. There he is sitting in the pits.
Yeah, you were talking about Donnie Moore being probably the one with the best shot to take down J.R. Shepard tonight. You take a look at the qualifying board, Donnie Moore on top right now, as J.R. Shepard only 4 100ths behind him, but also a couple positions behind him in 4th right now. A lot of times in sports we hear about the big East versus West rivalries. Tonight we're going to have J.R. Shepard from the Mid-South region versus Donnie Moore from the New England region. Those are some great short track regions of this country, and I can't wait to see them go head-to-head tonight.
Yeah, well, you said it right there. Great short track regions of this country, and we're getting ready to get kicked off here. Race control just came on and gave everybody their reminder here that the qualifying is set in reverse order of the of where their practice time was. So looks like Lowell Jewell will be the first car out to take a qualifying time here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what everyone can put up here. We saw a lot of really tight times there. Our final practice times there were only 3/10 apart. That's very competitive, and that field could get shuffled very quickly here in qualifying.
All right, well, it's Lowell Jewell starting to roll down the pit lane, and he's going to come out and get his 2 laps in. You get 2 laps here to set a qualifying, a fast time. Honestly, this track's so short. Look for that second lap to probably be a little bit faster. You're really still getting this SK Modified wound up by the time you get down to turn 3. Again, I look for that second lap to be the fast one on board with Lowell Jewell. He gets his first time in at 25.3, but here we go. Got a blister one here.
He came up a little bit high there in that in turns 2 and 3. I was noticing there.
That's 14.8 for Lowell. Mark Herzog going to be the next car rolling here. I take that back. I think it's Jim Franks. So Lowell got his 2 laps in. He's going to roll off. And that does leave Jim Franks on track now.
Saw Lowell Jewell actually lose some time there from practice to qualifying. I'm wondering if that's going to be a common trend among these drivers.
Well, listen, you've got to be absolutely perfect, and that's kind of what I was alluding to with that second lap being faster. You've really got to be perfect to nail it in just 2 laps, especially with the hot track conditions that we were talking about. It's about 115 right now as they start qualifying. But it is a clear sunny day this afternoon on track. Jim Franks already going to the provisional pole, the 14.5 on his second lap, and he is done. So Jim Franks moving to, like I said, the provisional pole. Brian Dean going to be the next car out on track.
Brian Dean had a 14.509 in practice. That would beat both of these drivers right now at the top of the board. They looked real smooth there through the turns. There's a very fine line when you come to these short tracks of the perfect groove to run. And it's just so hard to hit it and so easy to make a mistake. 3:07 as he goes to the top of the board.
Yeah, there you go. That'll work for now anyway. It's a good job. He knocked 2/10 off of it there, and that completes his qualifying. And let's see who's going to be rolling next year. I think it's going to be James Lowe.
Yep, Sarah Maria Spiller coming up.
All right, here we go. Sarah Maria Spiller coming around. Brian Dean gone to the provisional pole. Let's see how Sarah can hustle this modified around. Not bad on that first lap. She goes to second.
Yeah, not too far off Brian Dean there.
About 8/100ths of a second. Not bad at all. There's that second lap. A little bit better.
By a little bit, yeah.
All right, now we got James Lowe on track in the EcoBoost SK Modified. He's getting it cranked up down the back stretch. Little kind of center of the groove there on that first lap.
Oh, man. 3:08.
Not bad at all. Let's see what he can pull off here on this second lap. James coming around, gets a nice exit off of 4.
Nope, going to be a 3.61 there.
Yeah, not quite good enough. So he makes that first lap work. Mark Herzog on track now. The number 57 SK Modified. I know where I know Mark Herzog from. He's an Alliance driver from the majors. Yeah, saw that name earlier and I thought, Mark Herzog. I know I've heard that before. And look at his car, and he's got Alliance on the back of that. So one of our Alliance drivers from the Major Series puts it up to P4. right now with a 14.4. Let's see if we can get out of this second lap here. That's a little bit better. Herzog gets himself up into 4th with a 14.4. And that will complete his qualifying run. We go back to the track here, and now it's Ben Isinga. Really looks like keeping that car in the center of the groove, not getting too far down the track is the place you want to be here so far. And Isinga, not bad with a 14.4 himself. I put him up to 5th right now.
Fastest lap of the night for him, just a tad bit faster than his practice lap. And that one's a lot better, 4.47.
Good enough for 5th right now. Okay. And next on track is going to be the car of going into turn 1.
Justin Allen.
Justin Allen. There we go. I was having trouble picking him up there for a moment. This is a Virginia driver here. Gets that first lap around, and that takes him up to 6th with a 14.4. That seems to be the popular time right now.
Seen a lot of drivers with different corner entries so far in qualifying. Justin Allen looks like he's arcing it in a lot more. But that's the thing, when you have such a high banked, wider, short track, you have a lot of different lines in the turns.
Well, Justin Allen done at this point. That's his 2 laps. That's good enough for 6th provisionally. Tim Shinowski on track in the 07, former champion there. Tim ripping off his first lap. I expected exactly that, the veteran to move up the board a little bit. A 14.4. Here he comes out of 4.
Yeah, and pretty good there.
Yeah, he gets down to the 14.3s. That's good enough for provisional 3rd at the moment. And here's his brother, Matt. Matt's on track, the double aught. Heading down the back stretch, getting it cranked up. And that's going to be a decent time for Matt. And that's going to put him up to 5th right now with a 14.3. I hear him and his brother are using the same setup. That was humor, because it's a fixed setup. Oh, wow. So much for my bad jokes. Matt Shinowski puts it on the pole there with a 14.2, the first driver to go there.
Yeah, pretty dominant. He's 0.3 faster than Brian Dean in 2nd right now.
All right, and here comes John Hine. And that is a 14.4, only good enough for 9th at the moment. He's going to take one more run at it here out of 4. And it didn't... well, I'm sorry, it goes up. That puts him up to front row status here. 2nd on the board. Kenny Kibbe out on track in his SK. The super clean machine.
He's looking pretty fast on his first lap as well.
Yeah, that was a good opening lap. A 14.3 on the opener. Let's see what Kibbe can get here out of 4. That's a nice run out of 4.
Yeah, he got the throttle down pretty early. Gonna lose some time though. 4.72 on that lap.
Yeah, boy, it certainly felt faster there for a moment. Go to Todd Liston. Liston on track now. It's making me thirsty in that Pepsi SK Modified out of 4. Here comes Liston for his first lap. And that's good enough to get him up to 8th here. Good opener, a 14.4. Let's see if he's got another 1/10 of a second in him here as he makes his way through 3 and 4 and off the corner. Listed gets a little bit better, a 14.429. Good enough for 8th right now.
Here comes J.R. Shepard taking his first lap. I expect to see him up pretty far in the field.
Yeah, that guy, the champ, J.R. Shepard in the Premier number 98 Motorcraft machine. That's lap number 1, and that puts him on the pole.
Just dominant.
Yeah, it's a 14-2. And JR going to come back around for his second lap. He probably doesn't need it, but he'll take it. Take it right to the bank.
He's got a 1 second just about in between him and fourth place.
All right, Nick, fellow New Yorker Chris Passini out on track in the number 15. And if you're a New Yorker, that made famous by the great Wayne Anderson of Long Island. Your old, in fact, he's in the Eastport Feeds machine. Gonna have to get a picture of that. Chris must be familiar with the Anderson family. It's the Anderson family, by the way, steeped in modified history in the Northeast. Go way back to the 40s, the early 40s. But Chris Passini goes to third with that qualifying run. Another 14-2 thrown up there, Nick.
Yeah, he made that paint scheme proud there on that third place lap.
He sure did. Jeff Sharp, he's been around for a while. I definitely consider him a veteran of this series. In the Premier number 73, he's making his way around now for his first lap down that backstretch. Let's watch his entry into 3. That looks familiar. He holds a good line through there.
Looks like he got on the apron a little bit in 1 and 2 on that lap. Didn't hurt him too much, though. He's going to be fourth place as of now.
Yeah, it's a good opener. Another driver to go 14-2. Our top 5 with 14-2s to start. And that's the second lap there for Sharp, and that's good enough for second. Whoa! Bumps Matt Shinosky down to third. Currently set himself up for the feature. Real nice.
Yeah, that was real smooth on that second lap he had there. Got Donnie Morgan trying to knock them all off.
Here goes Donnie Moore. The Premier ASPCA SK Modified, one of Donnie's favorite charities. Irwin Tools on the quarter panels. I see a familiar GSRC logo on that car as well. Donnie gets that first lap out there. It's good enough for 9th.
Yeah, I think he was hoping that was going to be a little bit faster.
That was his second lap, actually, and, well, Donnie only able to qualify for 9th. But that's all right. He's got a long way to go here. I believe Mike Holloway is going to be the last car on track, but I don't see him rolling yet. I think Mike had a bit of a connection issue to get started. Might have taken him a moment to get things together, so Lowell, who's sitting in race control, has said we'll give him a moment, and there he goes. We definitely want Mike to get his shot at qualifying. Mike, another one of those veterans, has been around here forever. I believe he came with the Drapes, actually, in the Kelly Blue Book Napa SK Modified, the number 5, making his way around.
Looks like he might have been a little late to the party there. I don't believe he put up a practice lap, so he's getting a real fresh jump into this thing tonight. But right to the top he goes.
Man.
Wow.
Look at Mike. Look at him just wheel that modified around here. Last car out on track. He sets the pole with a 14.203. It isn't over yet, folks. What can he get there on 2? And that was only a 14.249, but that 14.203 is going to give him the pole in tonight's feature race. And that front row will be adorned by Mike Holloway and J.R. Shepard when we get there. But that ends qualifying, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk to Mike Holloway. We'll give him a few moments here to catch up with us. But what we will be doing is they're going to change over race servers, and when they do that, we'll take a break for just a few minutes, and we'll have to do the same, and then we'll come back and get this first heat race of the evening started. Really looking forward to that. But Mike Holloway just put down a blistering lap, man, a 14.203. And like I said, 6 drivers go 14.2. Everybody else files in behind him. But a great effort by Holloway there. And I'm sure that team's got to be pretty happy with pulling down a pole lap on a very, very hot track.
Yeah, well, I saw he had no practice lap. I figured, well, he's going to be content starting in the back, but no way. No practice, no problem for him tonight.
Yeah, I'm thinking he put some practice in somewhere at some point. Now, what I talked about earlier, we're starting in the afternoon and we're going to continue racing in the evening. That feature race is actually going to be the only session that's at night. So all of these drivers will be a little bit of a disadvantage and not being really familiar with how drastically those conditions to the track could change. So we'll definitely we'll want to keep our eyes on that when we get to the feature race. It could provide an interesting start and even an interesting run for some driver at some point. So I'm going to wait here just a couple more moments for Mike Holloway, see if he makes it in, and if he doesn't, then we'll throw it to break. But a good qualifying session. All 18 drivers got out there and got one in. The time's really, really close. I think that just means it's going to be an exciting race, Nick.
Yeah, well, it's always a very good sign when you are so content watching an entertaining qualifying session. You don't even have all the cars out on the track at the same time, so it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to get better from here also, but I think what we'll do here is we'll take a break for just a few minutes and we'll get moved over to the next session, which will be heat race number 1. And when we're there, we'll be back with you here on the Global Sim Racing Channel from Southern National Motorsports Park here tonight with the Bootleg Racing League and the 3rd annual Champion Shootout. Welcome back for the Bootleg Racing League third annual champion shootout here tonight at Southern National Motorsports Park. Here we are for heat number 1. Here's who made it. Jim Franks, Chris Piscini, Brian Dean, Mike Holloway, Kenny Kibbe, Todd Liston, Jeff Sharp, Ben Izinga, and Tim Shinoski have all made it for this first heat race. Now there were, I believe, 18 registered for the session, so there you go. There's 9, and it looks like they've all made it. Get a few minutes here to practice and just get the line warmed up, a little familiar again. They just had a couple laps of qualifying. They had that practice session just before it, a little bit of a warm-up. Most of these drivers should be pretty ready to go, but for those of you just joining us, this is the first heat race. Now, again, I can just give you the quick details here of this heat race, kind of get you up to speed. And looking at that now the grid is inverted. Now, this is the odd qualifying finishers, okay? If they had, let's say it was third, then they're going to be inverted from where they finished in qualifying. And then they will advance 3 non-champions from this session. A 20-lap race, no cautions, no fast repairs, and especially no tire changes. Now, 20-lap race, they're getting around here in 14 seconds. Obviously, not very long, Nick, but you do have to take care of the car, and you really got to take care of your line as well if you want to try and make a pass on somebody.
Yeah, the no fast repairs really puts a damper a bit on these cars tonight, but at the same time, it's only 20 laps, so I don't know how much good that would do you to after you come down pit road or tow or whatever you need to do.
Well, and listen, if you're not going to get a caution flag in these 20 laps, then like I said, taking care of the car really going to be at a premium. You're not going to get a second shot to, especially if you're one of the non-champions right now trying to make it in this race. And there's several of them. Brian Dean, of course, won. Chris Piscini, Kenny Kibbe's got that one, sorry. But Jeff Sharp, Todd Liston, Jim Franks, Ben Izinger, they're all trying to make their way in to this feature race tonight. And boy, it would be nice, I'm sure, from their perspective, to get a shot in the feature to take home this Champions Shootout trophy this evening. So we'll see here, just a few minutes of warm-up left. Now, we could look at the weather real quick because we are now in an afternoon session again. It's still clear outside. It's 83 degrees outside, and it's still very warm on track. Not quite as warm as it was. The wind, really not much of a factor. Right now, blowing at about 3 miles an hour out of the east. But again, still a really hot track to deal with. And boy, that should make the start interesting and how these cars get shuffled out and whether they get in line or go to side-by-side racing right off the bat, Nick.
Yeah, I think the ones that are going to want to go single file and have a clean, smooth race are the champions. But for those who are really needing to race their way in, it's going to feel like the old Sprint Showdown, Monster Energy Open, whatever name you want to call it. It's going to have a big feel of that coming in here. These guys really need to make up ground, and I think they're willing to go inside, outside, middle, wherever they can find speed to do so.
Well, they better figure it out quick because 20 laps, not a long time to get that figured out, especially when you don't have the benefit of a caution flag reset in the field and have an advantage, having the advantage of a restart to try and gain position. You're not going to get that in these heat races. So we'll see, but the checkered flag has been thrown. And on this warm-up session and everybody getting ready to go to grid, we're going to have that here for you in just a moment. Things going to change over, and now we've gone to the race session, and I think we can bring in the grid, the starting grid here for this first race. Heat number 1, Jim Franks on the pole here. Ben Izinga completes that first row. Second row going to go to Todd Liston and Kenny Kibbe. Tim Shinoski, Brian Dean on row 3. Row 4 going to be Chris Piscini and Jeff Sharp. Mike Holloway will round out this 9-car field at the back there in row 5 in the number 5. And the Ford Mustang pace car going to get ready to lead them off the front stretch here. Now they'll take 2 warm-up laps behind the pace car, and then the pace car will dive down, and they will cut it loose out of turn 4. The leader controls the start. You can't start any earlier than that car pulls off the track, the pace car, that is. Jim Frank's going to start on the inside, though. Ben Izinga up there front. Nick, what do you think, man? You got a favorite here yet early?
You know, I'm interested to see what Mike Holloway's approach to this race is going to be. I know he's got that comfort of being a past champion. He could, in theory, just ride around in the back tonight, but I don't. With him knowing as fast as he is, I don't know if he's going to be super content riding around in the back.
Well, I
wouldn't be surprised to see him fight his way up to the field.
Well, he does have the safety of that championship to get himself into the feature. If he can't make it to the front, we'll see what happens. But the pace car is off, and we are rocking and rolling down into turn 1, and they are off and away. Izinga, Franks, both out of... Oh, and boy, Franks' car was really, really tight off of turn 2. And Izinga going to the front and lead lap 1 here at Southern National Motorsports Park. And already Kenny Kibbe coming around the outside, trying to be the second person to get around Jim Franks here on this start. Another battle behind them is Tim Shinosky and Brian Dean going at it wheel to wheel across the line and into 1.
Yeah, that was a great start there by Ben Izenga to be able to get up there and clear Jim Franks, and now Jim Franks has to watch out for Kenny Kibbe there on the outside.
Yeah, Kibbe's driving it hard on the outside right now. Actually doesn't look bad up there. Car looks to have plenty of grip, and in fact, he's going to get a great run off of turn 2. May have an opportunity to pull in front. In fact, he does. Gets it done. Kibbe goes to second.
Yeah, Todd Liston was looking on the inside just a little bit there for that third spot around Jim Franks. And here he goes down to the inside, coming off the turn.
Back there lurking Tim Shinosky in the 07, trying to find a way to get around Todd Liston. Back a little further in the field, the 23 of Brian Dean still stuck up on the outside. Chris Bassini making that move down to the bottom, making it stick down there on the line.
And already over a quarter of the way through this heat race, it's going to feel like a breeze for us. It's going to go right through as the 12 got really close to the wall there. I'll tell you who it's not going to feel like a short race for, though, is the drivers.
Yeah, I would imagine sweat already beginning to form on the brow. Izinga really strong, though, on the start of this race. Staked himself to almost a second on Kibbe. But the action behind Kibbe is intense. Jim Franks still just trying to hang on to the top 3. He's got an angry group of SKs right behind him, Tim Shinosky being one of them. Here comes Liston dropping to the inside. He's going to try and compete for that spot. They almost bang wheels.
He had to go down on the apron just to try to hold his line there. He came in there super fast looking to take that spot.
And he's still down there. Look who he's bringing with him, Chris Bassini and Eddie Sport Feeds, SK Modified.
Yeah, well, I saw Bassini a couple laps ago get into the back of someone. He's really trying to fight his way up to the field.
Yeah, a little bit of a wrinkle on that chrome horn already, maybe. We'll have to...
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. That's what it's there for.
Short track racing.
Oh, man, Jim Franks just getting shuffled to the top and getting past, dropping like a rock through the field. He's already back to 8th. And up front, Ben Izinga continues to just kind of run away with it. It's a second on Kenny Kibbe. Only 8 laps to go.
Jim Franks nearly just lost control of the car. He got into the wall a couple laps ago, came down and nearly took him and Mike Holloway out together, it looked like.
Well, again, all the action from 4th on back. Liston hanging on to that 3rd spot. Everybody behind him scrambling. Right now, it's Chris Bassini trying to find a way to get around Liston, try and get himself here in the top 3. He's running out of time. 6 laps to go. He's going to have to figure out something here. I honestly am not seeing the 15 able to get a run off exit. And that's what you really, really need here at Southern National. And he's just not getting it. That leaves Todd Liston there, and then right there gets a good run on entry. Let's watch what happens here on exit. He stays with him, but he gets a piece of the wall, and that's never good. Takes a bit of that concrete with the 15 and allows Liston to hang on to that 3rd spot with 4 laps left to go.
Notice the last lap when he got into the wall, he took a little bit of a different line. He came up, he came into the turn with a higher arc, later apex, and here it goes down to the bottom, trying to take that spot away from Liston. I believe he's gonna have him if he can just hang on there.
Yeah, he's got to keep it down low in the groove, and he does.
Liston's gonna be careful. He's gonna lose this to Brian Dean as well.
Yeah, Dean looking for an opportunity. That door got open, and Dean's going to try and walk right through it.
And don't look now, but Jeff Sharp, I think, is sizing himself up to do the same thing.
And the white flag is out. Our leader, Ben Izinga, taking it down the back stretch. He's out of 2. Kenny Kibbe coming with him. Izinga in 3, now in the middle of the turn. Here he comes out of 4. Izinga, your winner of heat number 1 here in the 3rd annual Champions Shootout. Kenny Kibbe 2nd. Chris Passini comes up 4 spots to finish 3rd. And Brian Dean with a good run. He'll pick up 2 spots, finish 4th. And that was a pretty clean, tidy race there.
Yeah, it was a very good race, especially for Chris Passini. Very aggressive racing. He might have a little bit of a different strategy going into the feature race. 125 laps is a little bit longer than 20 laps.
Yeah, well, definitely a good way to get it started. All right, well, let's look at the results of that one here real quick and run it down for you. Ben Izinga, your winner here in heat number 1. Kenny Kibbe. So that now Ben, by nature of that, he is going to the feature race, and let's see, Kenny Kibbe is 2nd place there. Chris Passini finishes 3rd. 4th for Brian Dean. Jeff Sharp will finish 5th. Todd Liston 6th. Tim Shanotsky 7th. Mike Holloway 8th. And Jim Franks back there in 9th. It was tough for Jim. He started up, but he had great qualifying time and starts up there on the pole, but unfortunately he finds the back of the field. So there you go. That's heat number 1 out of the way already. And, well, like I warned everybody, that just didn't really take a long time, did it, Nick?
No, not at all. It's going to be a lot different of a feel for the feature race later on tonight. Just going to be so much more physically demanding.
All right. And you know what? We have got Ben Izinga. We're going to bring him, we're going to run down there real quick and hop in the garage, talk to him, and see if Ben has some good inside information on how to get around Southern National. Ben, congratulations. You've just transferred yourself into the feature. How'd you do it, buddy?
I just kind of drove, I guess. I knew going into qualifying that track position was going to be a big one, so I did my best there, and when I kind of qualified in the back, I didn't really mind.
How's it feel? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, going into the race, I just kind of figured I'd be okay, and pole sitter just didn't do very well in the start, and I guess I pulled it off.
Ben, how does the car feel with the track temperature? It was 114 for that session. How does it feel out there for that?
Yeah, it's just really, really tight. I wouldn't even use the word slippery. It just doesn't turn very well. Kind of got to get the left sides in the apron a little bit to get it to turn properly, and it's kind of difficult.
Kind of difficult. Well, you know, we're going to transition for the feature race to a night session. Have you gotten much practice at night on this track?
Well, one of my first races with this league was at night at Southern National in these cars. So, yeah, I've got a little bit of practice here. I've got a few laps here. And, yeah, hopefully I can make the transition pretty well.
Ben, how do you like your chances of winning that feature tonight?
I'd like to think they're pretty good. I'm not really sure, though.
Well, listen, you got yourself off to a great positive start by winning this first heat race. Listen, you know what? That's a positive start. It could be the lead into a big night for you. So we wish you the best. We thank you for coming and having a word with us. But we'll let you get to being a spectator for heat number 2, and we'll see you hopefully again at the end of the feature race.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, and that is Ben Izinga, and we are going to step away for just a moment and take a quick break here while we switch over to the heat number 2 server, but we'll be right back on the Global SimRacing Channel. back with the Global Sim Racing Channel and back with the Bootleg Racing League. You know what I didn't even tell you, folks? Bootleg Racing League is going to be back in 1 week to start Season 4, 2018. And, well, the Global Sim Racing Channel is back to bring it to you live every Saturday night throughout the season. Here's who's here for this one. Donnie Moore, James Lowe, Matt Shinoski, John Hine, Mark Herzog, Sarah Maria Spiller, Lowell Jewell, J.R. Shepard, and Justin Allen. And now that I've opened up the YouTube chat, I know that Chris Passini actually was a member of Wayne Anderson's modified team that he had, the Whelen modified team that he had. So, Chris, we're going to have to talk at some point. I'm sure we could trade a few Wayne Anderson stories. So, anyway, but back to this second race. Now the track conditions have changed a bit. As we've gone to a late afternoon session here for heat number 2. Things are getting later in the day. We got the details on screen there for you. Of course, the grid is going to be set by the people who qualified in the even spots, the even numbers, and we're inverting that from where they qualified for heat number 2. The top 3 non-championship drivers, non-champion drivers, will advance to the feature. Again, the same situation here, 20 laps, no cautions, no fast repairs, no tire changes. But now we've got 93 degrees, 84 degrees outside. It's a little bit more manageable, maybe even a little bit faster track. What do you think there, Nick?
Yeah, temperature definitely dropped. And what else dropped here is the times that these guys are throwing up in practice. We have the top 6, it looks like, running 13-second laps. So cooler track temperatures. They're getting around here a little faster. And you know, I mentioned in qualifying that I was looking forward to see Donnie Moore and J.R. Shepard go at it in the feature. We actually get that opportunity to see them go at it here in the heat. Not sure how much of that is going to be genuine, hard, aggressive racing. They'll want to save some, but
listen, Nick, I got a feeling Donnie's going to take every chance he can to put it on J.R. Shepard, and why not in heat number 2? Just a few minutes left in the heat number 2 session here, though, and a few drivers out there on track just practicing a little bit. There is the champ, J.R. Shepard. We have seen him win just a few championships here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Seeing the session now being reset, we can go ahead and go to the grid here in just a moment. In fact, I remember one season we saw JR win all 3 classes, the SK Modifieds, the late model, and the super lates. But now it's time to go to the grid. Take it away, Nick.
All right, no problem. We have Lowell Jewell in the 3 and Justin Allen making up your front row. We skip over to row number 2 there, the 57 of Mark Herzog on the inside, Sarah Maria Spiller on the outside. Donnie Moore, in 5th place in the 26. I'm sure he loves starting in the top 5, along with James Lowe in 6th. John Hine and Matt Shinoski making up row number 4, and J.R. Shepard going to start from the rear, but I wouldn't be so sure I expect him to finish back there.
Yeah, I don't expect him to finish back there either, but he's got to stay out of trouble, and he's got to work his way up through this field cleanly, because, again, we don't have any caution flags, and you certainly don't have fast repair, so if you do get bent up, you get off pace, you've got no chance of winning this in a 20-lap race. We saw it quickly. That last 20-lap heat race 1 went, and you're just not going to get too many chances to make a charge to the front. Now, Lowell Jewell is going to start this one from the point. Justin Allen on his outside. 9 SKs ready to go do this. Pace car brings them around for one more lap. The lights are extinguished. We're ready to go racing here at Southern National.
Yeah, a lot of times when you have 2 heat races back to back, one of them is very clean, one of them not so much. So I don't want to jinx anything here, but the first race was pretty clean.
Certainly was. It's all up to Lowell now. Here we go. The green flag is out. Lowell Jewell is on the hammer, but already up top. Justin Allen making a move into 1. Oh, Allen gets a rocket ship off a 2 down the backstretch. He clears Lowell Jewell down in the 3.
They were
just
almost 3 wide there. Oh, big trouble behind them.
Trouble in the back. Trouble in the back. I think that was John Hine and James Lowe, was it? I think both got involved, but the green flag stays out. We've got the replay here for you. And it looks like there was a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there in the center of the turn.
And J.R. Shepard made it through cleanly as well.
Yeah, the luck of J.R. Shepard back up front. It's Justin Allen still in the lead, but Mark Herzog really, really digging. And his Alliance SK, Donnie Moore with a little bit of a love tap there to the rear bumper with his chrome horn to Herzog. Moore going to try and get it done on the outside. Herzog going to keep the line on the bottom. That's a good, tidy one that time. Herzog still trying to find opportunity here with Justin Allen. Allen up in that center of the groove. And already looking down below. There goes Donnie Moore down to the bottom.
Yeah, Donnie Moore looking real fast. I think he's definitely faster than Mark Herzog. It's just a matter of getting around him and getting around him cleanly.
And Donnie's really got the line on the bottom now. I think he's going to be able to get this. Herzog is going to try and keep it up there. Herzog maybe diamonding it off a little bit there. That's still going to open the door and keep it open for Donnie. Now Donnie's really concerned about Justin Allen.
I was watching back here, battle for 5th. We had J.R. Shepard. Took quite a while, actually, to get around Lowell Jewell. He just passed him, though, and now he's got his sights set on Sarah Maria Spiller there for 4th.
Yeah, there it comes JR now. Got down to the bottom. Was able to get that from Sarah. Sarah slides up the track just a little bit. That battle for the lead as Donnie Moore has gotten there. Justin Allen stuck up top, and Donnie's going to clear him. Down the back stretch, the lead goes to Moore. Can he hang on to it? He's bringing Mark Herzog with him. Herzog got that line on the bottom. Oh, no! Justin Allen climbs the wall out of 4. J.R. Shepard is now in this mix. He's gotten to the bottom just inside of the 10 of Justin Allen. Up front, Donnie Moore sailing away with 8 laps to go. 8 laps at the line for Donnie. Well, now Herzog's got a mirror full here, Nick.
Yeah, all this battling here for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is letting Donnie Moore get away. He's now up to 6/10 of a lead over these guys, but great racing here. J.R. Shepard really trying hard to get around Mark Herzog. And I think he's going to have a decent run here going into turn 1. Can't quite get it done, though.
Yeah, JR, of course, would love to catch Donnie Moore. He's got 6 laps to do it. He's got to clear Herzog first. Herzog making the rear end of that SK very wide at the moment. Just no opportunity there for Shepard. Justin Allen dropped back to 4th now. Spiller trying to pick that up, that gap right now at about a half a second.
Justin Allen trying to get in the top 3, but he's definitely fallen back. You don't want to have to get in the top 3 when J.R. Shepard is sitting in P3.
Well, right now, if Allen can hang on to 4th, he's locked into one of those feature spots. Remember, the top 3 non-champions advance. Right now, it's Herzog, Allen, and Spiller. Your top 3 non-champions. With 2 to go at the line.
They are closing in a little bit there on Donnie Moore, but I don't think it's going to be enough here late in the race.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be enough at all because Donnie Moore is going to roll out of turn 4. And he's going to grab the white flag across the line. Herzog still trying to hold off Shepard. Don't make him. It's a Herzog in the wall. Here comes Shepard to the bottom. It is a race for 2nd. JR cuts it down on the bottom. They're going to come across the line, and Herzog's going to get it. By not even a nose. Maybe just by the front part of the chrome horn. Good finish here. Let's look at this replay, man. See Herzog up there. He gets a piece of the wall and opens things up for JR. JR is going to get down to the bottom, down to the inside, and you see Herzog Nah, I'm a little bit more in the chrome horn, but maybe just by a front end clip. But Herzog going to take that away, and your top three to advance are going to be your top three non-champion finishers to advance are going to be Herzog, Justin Allen, and Sarah Maria Spiller.
Yeah, great heat there for Herzog. He's got to feel a boost of confidence being able to hold off J.R. Shepard that long going into the feature race tonight.
Why don't you run down the results for us, Nick?
All right, Donnie Moore we saw hold on for that win. He pulled away and took that number one spot. Mark Herzog second, J.R. Shepard third, just by a little bit. Justin Allen and Sarah Maria Spiller are going to round out your top five. Matt Shinosky sixth, Lowell Jewell seventh. He's going to be the last lead lap car, and James Lowe and John Hine got the worst of it there early. They're going to finish 8th and 9th respectively.
So we had a faster track. It was still a pretty well-run race that we did in fact have a little trouble there on the start, but you know what, Donnie Moore really, once he cleared traffic, he was able to pull away, and Nick, I think you've got a chance to catch up with him.
All right, so we got Donnie Moore down here. Solid race to the front there after starting P5. Donnie, what was it like out there? You had quite a mirrorful all night, it looked like.
You guys got a copy?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear, Donnie. What was it like out there on the track, fighting your way up from 5th and then trying to hold off the charging second and third place cars there at the end?
Oh, Nick, it sounds like maybe Donnie's having a little trouble hearing
I believe so, just a little bit.
Shoot him a message here real quick, see if he can... Donnie, can you hear us? Yeah, not yet. We'll give him just a moment. Donnie deserves a moment to get things situated here. He'll figure it out.
You guys got a copy now, damn it.
There he goes. He took the helmet off.
My language, I'm sorry. Good race, Steve. That was fun.
Yeah, you started P5, wound up, obviously, up front. What kind of confidence does that give you going into the feature tonight?
Well, we'll see. I don't know. There's some awfully good races here. So I believe I have to be starting on the outside, so I don't know if that's good or bad right now.
Well, you got a long race ahead of you. No tires. We do expect the temperature to get a little lower, the track temperature especially, more importantly, a little lower as the sun will set. But how is that going to be holding off with 4 fresh tires? Well, I shouldn't say fresh. The same 4 tires for 125 laps tonight.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Boy, you're going to have to be gentle with them first half of the race for sure. And nobody does it better than JR, so we'll see what happens. That's a long race. It's our longest race of the year, so we don't know.
Yeah, we were watching JR come up to the field. He couldn't quite get to you, but realistically, what do you think your chances are for taking home the victory tonight?
Well, you know, there probably won't be a lot of cautions. A lot of good racers here, so there probably won't be a lot of cautions. And the field is really going to get spread out. JR doesn't make many mistakes. I think he's the class of the field here, and he's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, that's definitely the general consensus down here in the garage. You know, we thank you for your time. We hope to see you again tonight. Hey, who knows? Maybe in Victory Lane.
Appreciate it, Nicholas. Thanks.
No problem.
All right, Nick, that was Donnie Moore. And, well, I'll tell you what, he may not have all the confidence in the world of getting by J.R. Shepard this evening, but watch out for that Irwin Tools SK Modified to do something special in this feature race. Now, we are going to take another break here while we get set up for the next session. Last chance qualifier should be coming your way next here. I'm going to keep an eye on that. We'll either come back to that or we'll come back to the actual race session. So we'll see here in just a moment. But give us just a few minutes here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the Global SimRacing Channel. We are here tonight at the Southern National Motorsports Park for the Bootleg Racing League's 3rd annual Champions Shootout. And if you're just joining us, if you just stumbled across the fact that GSRC has got a live broadcast going, well, you've missed a little bit at this point. You missed both heat races. Donnie Moore just won that second one. And, we've got a Champions Shootout going on this evening. Now, what we've got going for you here right now, this is going to be the last race before the feature. We've got a last chance qualifier going on. We're going to get a quick warm-up session here, and the only drivers competing in this race are the non-championship drivers that have not advanced yet. Now, the top 2 finishers from this race are going to make their way into the feature. So this is a critical last chance qualifier. It will be the same 20 laps that we've had in the previous races, and they are setting the grid by their original qualifying times, and they're not going to invert the grid. There's no inversion, so fastest qualifier will start on the pole. Again, the top 2 are going to make it to the feature, and it's only 20 laps, no cautions, no tire changes, and no fast repairs. Here's what's changed. We're still under late afternoon skies, track temperature, ambient temperature, all about the same. There, 89 and 97 currently. Again, this is only a 20-lap race, so they'll get it done pretty quick. They'll probably advance out of this warm-up session here in just a moment. And we're going to get to green flag racing. But who is here? John Hine, James Lowe, Mike Allen, Todd Liston, Jeff Sharp, and Jim Franks. Only 2 of these cars are going to make it into the feature, Nick.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a battle to get to that top 2. I don't think these guys are going to be holding anything back in these 20 laps. Todd Liston especially jumps out to me. He was real aggressive in that first heat. I would definitely expect to see him be one of the main contenders in this thing.
Well, John Hine is the veteran here. And I don't know. I kind of would tip my hat to John as a legitimate threat to win this one. He's got the fastest time in qualifying right now with a 13.888. Jeff Sharp, he's been around for a while. So's Mike Allen. I give the experience to the veterans. They've been running this track since it hit the iRacing service, and there's no better experience than seat time. John Hine proves that right now with his really low practice time. Sitting there in the pits there in a number 21. Couple of cars still on track, working on their line just a little bit maybe. There's Mike Allen. Watch him go by on screen. Well, Nick, this time we've only got 6 cars to get this race going. You look for all of them to get down to turn 1 at the same time, or maybe a little patience and set yourself up for a run maybe in the last 5 laps?
I don't know. I don't think you're going to be able to have much patience when you have 20 laps and you got to get to that top 2. It's going to be a good one for sure, especially if you're starting in row 2 or 3 here.
All right, well, this warm-up session is officially wrapped up. The cars are going to roll back out of the pits and get here onto the grid, all behind the Ford Mustang pace car. Let's get in that grid now. Jeff Sharp on the pole. John Hine will sit there on the outside of row 1. Row 2 going to go to James Lowe and Todd Liston. In the number 87, going to start 4th. Row 3, Jim Franks in the number 12 will start 5th. And Mike Allen in the number 59, starting there in 6th. But listen, folks, Mike Allen very capable of coming from that 6th spot to win this race. We'll see here, though, as we get ready to start the last chance qualifier. Last race before the main. The main is coming up shortly, folks. Don't go away. Stay tuned with us here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Nick, this LCQ has the potential to be the hot race of the night. A lot at stake here.
I definitely think it could be, as 6 cars, 2 spots. It's going to be a great fight to the death here. Pace lights are out. Nerves being shaken off.
My nerves are racing right now. Let's see here what kind of start. Yeah, no, not alone at all. Let's see what kind of start Hine can get. They now get into turn 3.
It's going to be interesting to see if he can clear them.
Pace car's off. And away goes Jeff Sharp. Already, and they get
big
together
stack
just
up
behind him. Yeah. Todd Liston, Jim Franks got wheel to wheel, and again, Liston gets wheel to wheel there with James Lowe. But up front, Jeff Sharp has set himself apart from the field. He's bringing John Hine with him. Everybody else stacked up behind him. We've still got wheel to wheel back there, Lowe and Franks.
And James Lowe stuck on the outside after that start. Definitely not where he wants to be.
Hine trying to find the right line here, but he has just got James Lowe draped all over the rear end of that SK Modified. Lowe gets a good run off the 2. Not able to close much, though, down the back stretch.
Yeah, other than that initial start, pretty clean here. Not sure how much longer that'll last for. James Lowe looking for room to get up into that top 2. Looking for any speed he can get along with everyone behind him.
Yeah, Sharp really starting to open things up here. Gone almost to a second now. The fight behind him pretty intense here, though. Hine still trying to keep Lowe out of the mirror. It's not working. Now Lowe's got company just behind him. Jim Franks maybe trying to get things together here in the number 12.
Not sure how calm John Hine is right now when he's got 4 cars bumper to bumper right in his mirror.
Well, listen, he's got to do everything he can to hold on to this spot. It's his only chance into the feature at this point. First and second will make it in, and first is looking pretty good up there with Jeff Sharp. Everybody battling behind him. There is still a battle between Jim Franks and James Lowe. And it's poor Mike Allen stuck back there. He's got
trouble in turn 1.
And Allen is around. Allen around and into the wall. He's out.
He looks like
Jeff Sharp comes around with 10 to go.
Jim Franks had to get a lot of damage there as we go to replay now for that.
Yeah, they're going to lock wheels. That did not end well, boy. And Mike Allen takes the brunt of that.
And through all that, James Lowe sticking right to the back bumper still of John Hine.
Yeah, man, you know what? If Lowe gets one opportunity here, I think he's got a shot. But only 8 laps to go. So you better get busy, and you better hope that Todd Liston doesn't get a piece of you there from the rear. Liston looking pretty impatient back there, and I would be too with only 7 laps to go. Yeah.
Got hung out to dry on the start, and
here it is. Lowe goes to the bottom. Hine opened a door for him. He tried to walk through, and it didn't work. Hine shut it. He gave him one shot and then shut it on him.
Liston really trying hard to get around James Lowe. It's just hard for him right now, it looks like, to get a proper line into a turn. Drove it in real deep there.
Yes, he did. 5 laps to go for our leader, Jeff Sharp, who is now 1.7 seconds ahead. And Hine still trying to hold on to this second spot here from James Lowe. Lowe wants it. It's his only chance to get in. He's not going to get many more of them as they come around. It'll be 3 to go.
Yeah, that 99 Ford EcoBoost machine looks to be a little bit higher in the turns, and it's just teasing Liston. He wants a piece of that inside to get around him.
He's going to try it on the outside. He's got to hold the line and get a good exit, and it's not good enough with 1 to go, or 2 to go.
got to be careful he doesn't give that away to Liston. But as he gets in the wall and takes out Liston.
They're both off. They're both off and into the wall. Coming around is Jeff Sharp. He's got the white flag down the back stretch. Jeff Sharp is easily going to run away with this win here in the last chance qualifier. John Hine, the car sitting in second, coming out of 4, 1 and 2. Jeff Sharp, John Hine, your two drivers that will advance to the feature race. And boy, that was an unfortunate incident back there between Lowe and Liston. And we've got the replay here from above. Nick, big mistake here, huh?
Yeah, although I think I can hear the sigh of relief John Hine just let out. Just a racing deal there between Liston and
got in too hot, the car washed up, just nothing he could do with it at that point.
Yeah.
And sure, it just felt like it was pushing like a dump truck right up to that wall, and
you can't blame him either.
Save it. No, it's the last couple laps of the race. Of course you're going to get it hot. That sense of urgency comes up, and then that happens. Let's look at the results here real quick, though. See where everybody finished. Jeff Sharp, of course, is your winner. John Hine going to finish right behind him. Not a surprise that the veterans make it to the championship race. Jim Franks will finish third, just short. James Lowe, hard luck, fourth for him. Fifth for Liston, and Mike Allen is going to be denied. Unfortunate night. He's going to finish sixth. So it's on to the feature. Yes, the 125 lap feature coming up next here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Listen, it's going to be a good field. It's full of champions, former champions. One of those champions has got 18 of those titles. J.R. Shepard. Most of the field feels like he is the one to beat. You know what? I'm not sold on that. I don't know that anything is guaranteed here tonight. So we'll wait here just a moment longer or so and see if maybe we get John Hine for an interview. I know we've run down to the garage. We're trying to corral him now, but no one can seem to find him. I'm wondering if he's already gone to the hauler and started thinking about his strategy for 125 laps, Nick. When we come back, it'll be under the nighttime skies. What do you think about that?
It is going to be really exciting, at least for us. I don't know how exciting the drivers are gonna enjoy it, but as the sun sets, tempers will flare, and it's going to get heated, as most Saturday night short track events do. One thing I noticed there to end that race, Jeff Sharp, not that it matters too much, but or at least in that heat. But Jeff Sharp, the only one that finished with the 0 incident points there. You're going to want to keep this car clean for 125 laps. So the style of racing might have to change for some of these guys.
All right. Well, guess what? We found Jeff Sharp. He's ready. Let's talk to him. Jeff, congratulations. You made yourself in. You got yourself into the feature.
Yes, I did. How you doing?
Man, doing great. Really enjoyed watching these races. Excited about this feature race. But we're going to come back under nighttime skies. Are you ready for that? Jeff?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, and Jeff's not hearing us. Jeff, can you hear me? And yeah,
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So Jeff can hear us now. All right, there, Jeff. Jeff, it was a great race, man. You worked yourself into the feature. What was it like there for those 20 laps?
Well, I had a pretty good cushion, so I kind of took it easy, and they were racing amongst themselves, so that kind of made me feel good.
Yeah, and then there was that melee with just a couple laps to go in your mirror. Things got a little out of shape, a little crazy, but what's it mean to you right now to make it into this this final race?
I'm excited. I really wanted to get in the heat, but it was just a lot of traffic trying to get up there.
A lot of traffic, and there's going to be a lot of traffic for 125 laps when we come back. What have you done to prepare yourself for tonight?
I'm ready to go. I don't practice much. I just get in and drive.
All right, Jeff. And How much local modified experience do you have there in the great state of New York?
Dirt modifieds.
Dirt mods, okay. So you must be somewhere upstate, probably.
Yeah, I'm a big dirt modified fan.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, no dirt tonight, but plenty of asphalt. We wish you the best on it. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to, a sponsor, or anybody helping you get this done this evening?
Just thank Lowell for putting this on. It's my 3rd year, and it's a great event.
All right. Well, Lowell, I'm sorry. Well, Jeff, we thank you. And hopefully we get another chance to talk to you here after this feature race, my friend.
Going to do my best. Thank you.
All right. And that was Jeff Sharp. And Jeff was certainly, seems like he's prepared for the feature. I think the feature is where we're going to go. I don't have anybody lined up for another interview, but we'll see here in just a minute. Nick, you've seen the field. You've seen the drivers. Do you have a favorite yet for the feature?
You know, as much as I'd like to go with an underdog, you can't help but just think J.R. Shepard is going to be right up there. I think he's going to be the hardest to beat, and we heard that from a couple of the drivers as well.
Nick, you know what? Let's see. You know what? Why don't you talk to John Hine, because he just raced himself into the feature, and I think John would be a good person to get some perspective on for this feature race.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. I've caught up with John Hine. Indeed, John, you had your mirror full for the last 20 laps. How does it feel to be able to get into the top 2?
Yeah, it was difficult. Boy, I tell you what, the 99 was putting all kinds of pressure on me, and I had to kind of not run my line and run about a car length lower through the straightaway so he couldn't get that inside going in, so I really protected it. But all said and done, we're all in, so that's good.
Yeah, that's definitely what matters from the LCQ. Now that your heart rate is down just a little bit, what are your chances going into racing under the lights tonight?
Well, you know, first things first, stay out of trouble. If you finish first, you must finish. And, you know, this is a long race here, and just do my best to keep the tires under it. And, you know, see what we have the last maybe 30 laps or so of the race.
Yeah, 125 laps. How easy is everyone going to take it? I should just say, how easy are you going to take it? Not sure if you want to reveal any strategy, but no tires to change. It's going to be tough.
It is tough, and you know the strategy. You know you can't lay back too fast. Not with this crowd. Not with guys like Donnie and JR in the show, because you know next thing you know you'll be a lap down. So not so much laying back, but maybe you know as far as passing and taking the chances and how far you push right off the bat's where you conserve the tires.
All right, yeah. Well, you ran a great race there. 125 laps more for you. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll see you again tonight in Victory Lane.
Yeah, I hope so. And it's great to have you guys back. Welcome back. Glad to see you.
All right, you too. Well, get back to the hauler, you know, take a little debrief, and we'll see you later on the track.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You guys have a good one.
All right, Nick. Well, I'll tell you what, we all of a sudden we've got a few people who want to talk to us. Why don't we talk to Mike Holloway though, real quick? And Mike, well, we knew you were going to be in the feature because, well, you are a former champ. What do you think about this setup and track tonight? Are you ready to go take a win in the champions race? We'll give Mike a second here to get his mic situation set up and ready to go. And we lost him. So why don't we talk to another former champion? We got Kenny Kibbe lined up. We can talk to him real quick. Kenny's got himself one of these championships. He's locked into the feature now. Kenny, what do you think about this feature race? Are you ready to tackle 125 laps at Southern National?
Well, we'll see. I'm going to give it my best. You know, a lot of times my struggle in these modified series is keeping the longevity of the tires. And this being the longest race of the year, it's going to be tough for me. But hopefully I can get good track position early on and not have to push the limit right from the get-go.
Kenny, how good are you at managing tires?
Well, I mean, I haven't won a modified race yet, so I'd say I'm decent, but not as good as some of the top guys.
All right. Well, everybody has a chance. It's 125 laps. You never know what can happen. Got anybody you'd like to thank? Any sponsors you'd like to get a shout out to?
Well, I got friends and family that tune in. I'd like to thank them and everybody in the league. It's real fun to be in this league. I'd like to thank you guys for coming back. When I first got into this league, you guys, it was your last season with us, and it's really cool to have you guys back here. So, yeah, hopefully you can have a good night tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And we are going to have a good night. We can't wait to get it started. We're looking forward to seeing you here in season 4 next week when we get started again for another 11 races here with the Bootleg Racing League. And hopefully we'll get another chance to talk to Kenny. But right now, I think we will take a quick break and we will come back from that ready to go for tonight's feature from Southern National Motorsports, Motorsports Park, right here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel here from Southern National Motorsports Park in the East Coast of the United States. We're here with the Bootleg Racing League's 3rd annual champion shootout. And boy, have we got a hot one on tap for you this evening. And I say this evening, I mean this evening. The lights are on and we have fallen under nighttime skies here in North Carolina. And it is... well, guess what, folks? It's still warm, very warm, as we get ready to restart this race. And if you haven't been with us until just now, if you just walked in and you're catching this race live, well, we've had a couple of heat races. We had a last chance qualifier. It just ended, and now we're going to run this feature race. And, well, been informed by race control that everybody's in. They had a few people back out, so everyone's going to advance to this feature race, and we're going to have full field here for you and get a little bit of a warm-up session in, and then everybody's going to get a chance to get a few laps here under the nighttime conditions. And we started in the afternoon. We went to late afternoon session for Heat 2 and for the last chance qualifier, and now we find ourselves again under nighttime skies. Everybody out there practicing fast laps, already starting to roll in. Nick, we got John Hine already putting down a 13.6.
Yeah, well, he's coming off of a hot streak from the last race when he had to run a perfect 20 laps there with everyone in his mirror. The confidence level for him, I think, is going to be a little higher tonight for the feature, which is definitely good news for him. But yeah, I was just looking at the track conditions here. Still hot, like you said, 85 degrees. Wind has picked up just a little bit, but yeah, it sure looks different under the lights. But the intensity level is just going to get ramped up a ton.
Yeah, and you know, I thought that. I guess I need to adjust my glasses. I thought it said 95 degrees. It's 85 degrees on track. So actually gone down significantly from the previous sessions. And yeah, I can tell by the times already we're seeing a bit faster track here. In fact, already the top 6 here in practice are most of who are drivers that were running, honestly, weren't running close to these times back a few sessions ago. So impressive here. Just a little bit of tweak in the temperature, and things start to speed up a little bit. You know what? Let's take a look at the details of the feature race here real quick. Now, of course, we've been talking about it. 125 laps. You don't get to change tires. The caution flags will be in play here, and that could certainly be a big strategy advantage. And you will get one fast repair in this race if you need it. If you're not familiar with iRacing, fast repair basically means you've got a spare car in the hauler that you can pull down, put on the track in the event of something catastrophic that results in pretty major damage on your car. All the while, though, you can't change tires. And Nick, I think we keep talking about it. It's almost cliche now. That's going to be a big deal. You really have to take care of the tires on this track to get them to last over 125 lap run. I've got to be honest with you, in the real world, when we watch the Wheel and Tour modifieds and even the SK modifieds themselves, max distance on a set is generally about 150, and that's really making them go away there towards the end. That could mean literal seconds off your time.
Yeah, Sean, I am up here in the booth getting anxiety about changing tires or not being able to change tires tonight, and I'm not even driving. So I can't imagine running 125 laps tonight. Like you said, I think the cautions, if we have a lot of them, will help them a bit. But at the same time, you know, you're going for a win. You got to push hard.
Right, exactly, right? You're not out here to run slow or run half laps. You're out here to run full speed and as hard and as fast as you can go to get to the front. And, well, I think it's going to be a challenge for a few drivers. Who's it not going to be a challenge for? Well, I don't know. J.R. Shepherd, if he gets out to an early, gets himself staked to an early lead, and opens that thing up to a second or two right off the initial start. Listen, until you get to the traffic, clean air is king in the modified. It really will help turn the car. It's when you get stuck in behind people and they're moving around on track that you find yourself you find making passes harder on track. So we'll see here what kind of damage JR can do off the start. Just a few minutes left in warm-up here as we get ready to go here for 125 laps SK modified action here tonight at Southern National Motorsports Park. And we're going to have a full field. I've got 17 drivers in the session. We started with 18. And the only person I'm not seeing here is Lowell Jewell, actually, which he may have moved up to race control and may not actually be running this one. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if Lowell makes it out on track.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough how much this practice session is probably doing for these guys. You get used, you just spent your last 20 or 40 laps, depending on whether or not you went to the LCQ, on getting a line, getting a rhythm down, and with the sun setting, we're completely nighttime out. That line might just change a little bit.
Yeah, and a small observation is the marbles. Off the line seems to be quite a few of them, and that certainly could be a factor. You don't want to be up there in that mess when you're trying to make a pass on somebody.
Definitely not.
better not make it too high, wide, and handsome, or you're going to be, well, wrecked, ugly, and done.
You know, it might be a good thing that these guys start a little more conservatively, because you're going to, just for that reason, you're going to want to get single file a lot faster.
And a lot of drivers continuing to take advantage of the practice session. We've seen a few get in trouble already, maybe misjudge their braking zone or just try to take it in as deep as they could. Right now, just kind of feeling the limits of the car and the track. And Lil Jewel is with us. He's here.
All right, full cast of characters.
Yeah, that definitely full cast of characters indeed. I am excited about this one. I appreciate the comments from the guys. We're just happy to be back with the Bootleg Racing League again. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got a whole season coming up for you here, starting next Saturday night. We'll be back to our normal starting time. I think we go live at top of the hour, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. or 9:15 Eastern Time. Don't get me lying either way, but we'll have it on the schedule for you folks, and we look forward to a full season. I'll be back on the team, and just excited to be calling these guys races again. Of course, if you've watched us cover the Bootleg Racing League before, you may know that, well, my family has a little bit of history in modified racing in the Northeast, and this is very personal to me. In fact, I got to spend my whole summer last year right there in Riverhead, New York, and got to go quite a few races. Went to the tour show and enjoyed that. Went to both tour shows, and tell you what, these modifieds, the ground pounders as they call them, a real special treat, man. It's a mix of the of what you would see every Sunday from NASCAR and the Monster Energy Cup cars, and maybe even a little bit of IndyCar with those open wheels on the front end. So a unique beast indeed. They have been around. The modifieds have been around since the 50s, and they have been an official series of NASCAR since I believe the early 60s when they first got on the map with NASCAR and got that affiliation. So a lot of history behind these machines. The SK created by that series, and that car, the specs for the car, created by the Arute brothers back up in the Northeast there. Jack Arute, of course, famous track owner, and it was designed as a less expensive option to modified racing, being as the tour modifieds had gotten a little bit out of reach, and it was sometime in the late 70s that they realized they needed to make a change to get more people involved with modified racing, and a lot of people have come up through the ranks of the SKs. In fact, the SKs just as competitive as the tour machines, just a little bit difference in the horsepower band and the tires. Really, that's really the big difference is the SKs run a much smaller tire than the actual tour modified does. But the body, the style of the car, where the Nerf bars and everything, all pretty much the same.
Yeah, the thing about going to your local short track, which I highly recommend you do, go out there and give them some local support on a Friday, Saturday night, whenever they run. But one of my favorite things about these modifieds is there's always action somewhere on the track. There's always great racing, no matter what the track, what the conditions, how big the field is. And just as you said, these cars are so exciting because it is a little bit of each car we're more known to, like NASCARs and Indy cars, just combined into one unique vehicle.
And very powerful. These SK modifieds, it's just over 600 horsepower, I think, right? Or is it just below it? I'm trying to remember now from the iRacing specs. I think it might be just below 600.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, and then the Tour modifieds, I think, are like 625 horsepower.
Yeah.
A lot of power, folks. A lot of power. This car doesn't weigh much. It's not a 3,600-pound stock car like you'd see in the Cup Series. This car only weighs, if I remember correctly, about 2,500, 2,600 pounds. So a much lighter machine, a very, very powerful torque band on this car. Easy to loop around if you're not careful with getting back to the power. But I think the track conditions, now that we're under a nighttime sky, I think we've got a favorable condition to race in. And again, like I talked about earlier, it seems like the cooler track has brought the times, at least in practice here, a lot closer together now.
Yeah, it's only made it more competitive, which is going to be great to see when the green flag drops after the pace car pulls off for 125 laps.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to step away for just a moment, take another quick break. Expect this probably might be the last one we need to take this evening. As they get ready to start the session here, we'll step away. One last break, and we'll be right back here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Welcome back to the Global SimRacing Channel. Did you just get here? We didn't. We've been here with the Bootleg Racing League, and tonight their third annual Champions Shootout. The feature race on tap. We've got practice underway and a few drivers that want to chat for a moment. So maybe we start with Mike Holloway, see if we can get him in here and talk to Mike about his plan for this feature race coming up. Mike, have you got me?
I got you, Sean.
Mike Holloway, good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. Tell you what, man, this is going to be fun tonight. 125 laps, longest race of the season for you guys. What's your plan?
Stay out front.
Stay out front, but you're going to have to pass J.R. Shepherd to stay out front, aren't you?
No, I think he's got to pass me. I'm on the pole, right?
That's right. You are on the pole. Yes. Okay. So you'll start down there on the inside, and you're going to be able to keep it tight and out front. I was saying just a few minutes ago, the clean air in this car, being out front, really an advantage, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But the problem is JR starting right beside me, so we'll see how long that out front lasts. But you're right. I mean, clean air does help, and once you kind of get down to that bottom, kind of protect that lane a little bit. It makes it a little tougher for anybody to get around you, but that's not to say it can't be done.
Right, and well, we saw a little bit of action in the heat races, and even a little bit more in the LCQ. But I like the fact that the temperature is dropped steadily. How much of a factor is that going to be?
I think it's going to be huge. The track's just from practice here, from the way it was earlier in the afternoons, already significantly different. It drives different, so I think it's going to make a pretty big impact on what kind of show we see here.
Well, it's going to be a good show. You've got to manage those tires. You got to make them last. You got to stay out of trouble. Is the fast repair much of a factor for you?
No, not really. Not for me. I don't. It really shouldn't be for anybody. I think for the most part, everybody does pretty good with that kind of stuff. So, the fact that we don't have one, let me clarify that. The fact that we usually have one doesn't really change the way I race normally, because I don't go out there thinking, oh, I got a fast repair, I can just kind of do whatever I want. So not having it really doesn't change much of an approach here.
Well, I hope that approach gets you in victory lane when this is over. Anybody you'd like to thank, any sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to, Mike?
Got to thank Kelly Blue Book for coming on board with us. This will be our first racing with them, and got to thank Lowell for doing this. This is kind of a cool concept he's got here with the Champions race, or it's all-star race, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty neat, so got to give a big shout out to him. Champions Shootout there, Mike. Champions. This is the 3rd annual Champions Shootout, sir. All right. Hey, listen, my best to you. Go out there and get him, buddy, and I've got a good feeling we may be chatting with you again. Awesome. I sure hope so, and thank you. And by the way, it's good to see you guys back. It's good to talk to you, Sean. It's been a while. Yeah, man, it's good to talk to you too. Can't wait to do it again. All right, that's Mike Holloway, and almost called him Matt. And why? Because, well, we're going to talk to Matt Shinoski next, and Nick's caught up with him, and maybe going to talk a little bit of strategy with Matt. Yeah, we are down here with Kurt and Kyle Matt and Tim Shinoski, that is. Just kidding there. Matt, do you have a copy, first of all?
Yes, I do.
All right, awesome. So, it's going to be you and your brother out there. We've seen that before, of course. You going to help each other get through the field tonight, or, you don't want to be too aggressive, but what game plan do you have coming into tonight?
Well, to be honest, we never really game plan anything. It's every man for himself once the green flags goes. With this short track racing, you really can't do any work with teammates anyway, so we'll just see what happens once the green flag flies.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of a plate racing dynamic in the short track world. Every man for himself, no teammates, everything goes just about. Obviously, changing conditions. We're under the lights now. How much is that going to affect everyone's lines and strategies that they had in the first couple of heats?
I think it's going to give us a lot more grip now in the race than we did in qualifying in the heats. So I think we're going to see a lot more aggressive driving here, especially at the beginning.
Well, yeah, we right off the bat see a lot of faster times. Speaking of grip, though, how concerned are you about going on the same 4 tires for all 125 laps?
That I'm not sure about. I haven't been racing with Bootleg much this summer. I haven't raced since this spring, so I think there might have been some changes with the tires since then. I'm not sure, but that I don't know. Just have to play it by ear.
All right. Well, you can play it by ear, or we'll find out later. You can get out on the track. No. Well, hopefully we'll see you again later tonight. Maybe in Victory Lane, even.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yep. No problem. Anytime.
All right, Nick, and that was Matt Shinoski, and well, we've got a special guest. The next one's going to be Lowell Jewell. He is the league president, administrator, grand poobah, head of the class, Lowell Jewell. Lowell, thank you so much for bringing this event to us for the 3rd annual Champion Shootout, and welcome back to the GSRC booth, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. I brought y'all some birthday cake.
Oh, that's right. The Bootleg Racing League is celebrating its 5th year in existence. And, well, we spent a lot of time with you over the years, Lowell, and that's a pretty good watermark here on iRacing for a league. 5 years. Tell us a little bit about how that feels as a league owner and a guy who's really put in all the work behind the scenes all these years.
Well, it's went pretty fast, actually. Some days it goes slow, but overall it's went pretty quick. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. And we are certainly happy to be back at GSRC.
Yeah, and we're happy to have your voice back on the air, my friend. It's been a while. What do you think about this race this evening? I mean, we're under the nighttime skies now. The track's cooled down, and you had a decent car. You hadn't looked bad, but what is your strategy going into this? How do you find your way to the end and possibly find your way in victory lane?
That ain't gonna happen. I don't know if I can hold my breath for 125 laps, but I'm gonna try. I've had no practice whatsoever this week. It's been a busy week, but the car's stuck. A little tight, but it's stuck to the track. It should be an awesome race.
I think it is going to be an awesome race. We've given all the drivers that showed up this evening a chance to run here in the feature. We explained that to everybody already. Going forward, how prepared do you find yourself for Season 4 here this year in 2018? Did we lose Lowell? Can you still hear me, buddy?
Am I here?
Oh, there you are. Okay. Can you hear me now, Lowell? All right. Yeah.
That's next week, right? I'm not ready at all.
Yeah, not ready at all for Season 4. Well, this is the time of year, though, as things start to slow down at your local short track and we get into the late fall and winter months. You expecting to see any faces back to the Bootleg Racing League that maybe haven't been around for the summer?
Yeah, we've got some coming back. The Shinovsky brothers are back, and a couple others. Might be some coming back in the middle of winter. So we should have some full grids and some more fun.
And how many series are you going to be running here this season, Lowell?
We will start the night off with the street stocks, and then the limited late model, and then end the night with the Outlaws.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a schedule we're certainly familiar with, and you boys have got to do your best work to try and not let JR win all 3 of them.
That's the hard part nowadays is knocking him off the post.
Yeah, you sent me an email the other day when he wrapped up another championship, and it's amazing how many of these things this guy has managed to rip off.
Yeah, just 21, that's all.
Yeah, just 21.
All right, I'm going to go race, buddy.
All right, Lowell, go ahead and get in the car. We'll see you in a few minutes here on track. That's Lowell Jewell, folks, and we appreciate talking to him. And furthermore, look forward to watching him drive here tonight at Southern National Motorsports Park. Nick, as we get prepared to race, what do you look for in the early stages of this race?
Well, you guys briefly mentioned it there. I want to see who, if anyone, tries to make a move on J.R. Shepard and bury him back in the field. You're only going up against 21 championships, though, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Nah, it shouldn't be too hard.
Nah, just a breeze.
Well, in about 3 minutes or so here, we're going to line everybody up. We're going to give you the grid and give you the call to go racing. I find myself wanting to put you in the hot seat and have you make a pick, and I feel like I'm going to do that, but you know what? I'm going to make mine first. And, I don't think this is going to go according to Hoyle tonight. I don't think anything is guaranteed. I said that earlier. I look for maybe a fresh face to get to the top, and maybe there's a little bit of bias involved, but give me the 15 car. I think that'd be really cool to see it in victory lane. Chris Piscini right now looking really hot in practice. A 13.6. Oh, yeah. Only 0.003 of a second separate him and J.R. Shepard in practice here. And you know what that tells me? It tells me he's got the legs to run up front. So let's see how this race progresses. But right now, that's my early pick. Nick, what about you, buddy?
I'm kind of weighing it back and forth between Todd Liston in the 87 and John Hine in the 21. We saw them both race really well in their heats, and John Hine, especially in the LCQ, we know he can get it done holding people off. His biggest thing to do is going to be able to get in front of them, though. Once he gets in front of them, I think he's got it. And the opposite for Todd Liston, he was really good at getting around cars and finding a line and just sitting right in a mirror until the person in front made a mistake.
Well, mistakes will cost you this evening. You don't want to make a lot of them. It is 125 laps, but as we've seen through the two heat races, the LCQ, they didn't take long at all. It does not take long to peel off 20 laps here, and 125 will be done before you know it. So you really, you've got to manage, again, we've said it, you've got to manage the car, you've got to manage your strategy, and most importantly, you're going to have to manage those tires. I know it's all we keep talking about, but trust me, that's going to be the story of the race. If you've not seen one of these SK Modifieds yet, or SK Modified races yet here on the Global SimRacing Channel or on iRacing in general, you're in for a treat, but the drivers are in for a handful because, honestly, the tires really start to, if you're driving it hard, they really start to fall off around that lap 50 to 60 area. And, well, again, you got to get double that. So those who are cautious early should be rewarded in the end. But our warm-up session now closing down, the checkered flag out for that, and it's time to go to our grid here in just a moment. And we can do that now here as we give you the grid for the 3rd annual Champion Shootout here on the Global SimRacing Channel, the Bootleg Racing League. Mike Holloway going to start on the pole just where he said he was, but guess who's there right next to him? J.R. Shepard in a number 98. Row 2 going to be Ben Izinga and Donnie Moore, former champion there on the outside. Kenny Kibbe, he's got one of those championships. He's going to start on the inside of row 3. And then Mark Herzog is going to start 6th. We'll go down to row 4. It's going to be Chris Pence and Justin Allen. Go ahead and take the rest there, Nick.
All right, going to go to row 5. Brian Dean and Sarah Maria Spiller. We have the Shinosky brothers, row 6, 11th and 12th. Tim on the inside, Matt on the outside in the 00. Then row 7, Lowell Jewell and Jeff Sharp, John Hine and Jim Franks, 15th and 16th respectively. James Lowe and Todd Liston going to make up 17th and 18th, and 19th rounding out the field, Mike Allen in the 59 machine.
All right, that's your field. 19 SK Modifieds ready to go here in the Bootleg Racing League. Holloway going to get the start here from the point. The question is, can he get the start he needs to get clear of J.R. Shepard? And can he keep it there in front of Shepard? Shepard's going to have his old friend Donnie Moore right behind him. These two have been on track together quite a bit for quite a time. Look for them to maybe mix it up early. I wouldn't suggest it, but it certainly could happen. One more lap to go here around behind that Mustang pace car.
One thing I noticed there, a couple of these drivers put up a lot of laps there in the 30 minutes. They took full advantage of that. I saw one driver put up 96 laps, so a couple of these drivers having fresh experience on old tires. Let's see how that plays in.
All right, 125 to go. Here it is. Ford Mustang pace cars off. We are mean green and underway, and there goes Mike Holloway. Got a nice start. Already gets in front of JR. JR hounding him.
Oh, a little bit of trouble behind him.
Getting stacked up back there in the field. A lot of cars slow on the start because of that stack up front, though. The racing already intense. Ben Izinga with a nice run. Looking to challenge J.R. Shepard down into 3. Izinga goes to the inside and he makes contact with JR. JR's trying to hang on and he makes contact with Donnie Moore. Cars sliding all over the place. Piscini able to get by. So was the 14 of Kenny Kibbe.
Mark Herzog on that first turn. He got like some heavy contact.
Oh, get another car around in the back. Sorry there. It did not spin all the way around. I think that was Sarah Maria Spiller. It was. And already the action intense. J.R. Shepard has been dropped to 8th. He's trying to find a way around Tim Shinosky, and there's contact between him and Shinosky. And I'm going to say I thought that was netcode actually that happened between the two. There was a break in internet connection for one of them.
I think J.R. Shepard just blinked a little bit there.
He goes away for a moment, then when he comes back on track, it's Shinosky going around and all the way to the back of the field. And that, folks, is not the way J.R. Shepard expected for this race to start. And because of it, Mike Holloway is in the lead. Ben Izinga will sit in second and we'll restart this race on the front row. So there we go. Lap 7. We've already got the caution out. This is, honestly, Nick, the drivers don't mind this right here, especially when you've got to make this go for 125.
Yeah. A lot of drivers, though, 7 laps in, you don't want to use that quick repair just 7 laps in with 118 left. But J.R. Shepard, I'm just noticing especially, has a big old dent in his bumper there.
JR will ride that out. He's going to keep that fast repair in his pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Couple of drivers have slipped to the safety of pit road, and they are Lowell Jewell and Justin Allen. Herzog had the trouble there at the very beginning. He is many laps down now.
Yeah, he got contact right in the first turn. Didn't spin all the way around. He was just sideways and just plummeted to the rear of the field. Quickly came down pit road after that and tried to fix some damage.
Well, that's a lot of lucky dogs to have to pick up.
Yeah, and
the lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to get this going again. Down the back stretch. It'll be Mike Holloway, Ben Izinga for the restart. Donnie Moore dropping to the inside here on this restart of Kenny Kibbe on the outside. Donnie's got plenty of company right behind him with Brian Dean. There goes the Ford Mustang pace car. And Mike Holloway is on the hammer down to 1. Nice clean start for him. So far, so good behind. Oh, no! Donnie Moore in the wall. In the wall and over on his lid. I'm sorry, Izinga was over and on his lid. That looks like these two got a little too close going to the turn, Nick.
Yeah, I was just about to interrupt you there on the start and say how impressed I was with the clean start. I'm glad I did not, because, well, we've got cars upside down.
It was the 90, I think it was the 99 that you saw up top there, and it was in the wall. James Lowe gets on the binders. Look at this, just melee erupt. And Bassini gets through that. I wonder if he picked up any damage as the 15 now finds himself up in 5th. And I don't see any damage on the car. I think Chris got away with one there.
Yeah, Shepard did too. He was real close to getting into that, to clipping a piece of that, and he may have, but not nearly as bad as some of the other guys.
And that's the onboard with, I believe that was with Shinosky there. And he gets pinched up into the wall, possibly has some right front damage on that car. In fact, Tim was in, so I'm thinking maybe that was to... oh, I'm sorry. It was my bad. That was Matt that actually got pinched up against the wall. I'm getting my Shinosky's mixed up already.
Well, under our last caution, we were talking about Mark Herzog trying to get some lucky dogs to fight his way back, and well, he's not last anymore.
There's one. Yeah, there's one. He's got one of those laps back now. He finds himself 4 laps down. If we continued at the current rate of cautions, he's in good shape to get back in this race. The big mover early, though, is that 99 James Lowe, man. all the way from the back of the field. He started 17th. He finds himself now up to 6th. And we'll be starting on the outside with Piscini to his inside. The lights are out on the pace car. We're ready to roll. Mike Holloway's going to get to lead him off the point again. Coming through the middle of 3 and 4. The pace car is off, and Holloway is back on the loud pedal. Across the line, down into 1. It's Brian Dean with a big start there on the outside. He drops down in front of J.R. Shepard. Kibbe trying to come along on the outside. J.R. Nothing there behind. Still having a little bit of a connection issue with J.R. Kibbe trying to get the run off the top back there. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. Piscini is coming along the bottom, following J.R.
Well, now I think I can comfortably say that was a pretty clean start. 14 got in the wall there a little bit, it looked like.
Yeah, Kibbe definitely struggling here. He's been dropped a couple of spots now. And I think there are more coming for him to lose. Comes that James Lowe car I was talking about, the 99. He is threatening down low. Kibbe is just backing up. Oh, no. Lowe got too much of the apron. He comes up the track. Kibbe had to make an evasive move.
I don't know how much I'd want to be Brian Dean right now. Yeah, you're real close to the lead, but J.R. Shepard just found himself a lot of empty racetrack in front of him to chase you down.
Yeah, he has. Now, I don't think that damage on JR's car is really affecting him at all, to be honest with you. Very, very minor. But right now, Dean is got himself a nice little advantage over JR, but you wonder how long can that last? You also wonder how hard is JR actually pushing right now? Is he going 80% or is he going 100%? I tell you. Oh, and we have a spin. Sarah Marie Spiller around, and I think she got a little bit of help. As we look at the replay, I'm afraid there might have been a little bit of contact with Mike Allen.
Yeah.
Let's see Allen get the run here. And she tried, credit to her, she tried to protect her line and get back to her racing line, but it was too late. And Mike Allen was already there, and that brings out our third caution of the night now. And, well, that's 25 laps completed there.
Yeah, I think she thought she had a little more clearance there on that inside. It's so hard with these modifieds, especially over any other car, to tell where you are, where your car is. They're big, bulky, and just oddly shaped in all four corners.
Yeah, and the sight lines aren't really good, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I will say I had an interesting conversation with a friend last evening, and we were talking about the sight lines in iRacing, and ever since the introduction of VR and people going to virtual reality, you can actually see quite a bit in an iRacing in the iRacing environment as compared to what you can really see in a stock car. And I have sat in one of these modifieds before, in a tour modified, and I can tell you when you strap the helmet on and you put the Hans device on, you're seeing very little. It's very little, and well, you do get the same feeling here in the sim at times where you are blind to who's next to you. There really are areas of the car that you can't see. You don't always know that somebody's there, regardless of what the relative timing may be telling you. It may tell you that there's 0.2 seconds between you and an opponent. That opponent may actually already be on you, and it may be the difference of a bumper. If you're not clear, you're not clear. And then, well, obviously there for Sarah, she wasn't clear, and it resulted in the spin. But the good news for Sarah is she hasn't had to take a pit. I don't see a lot of heavy damage on that car. That SK Modified looks like it's ready to roll and in good shape.
Yeah, as we're in turn 3 here, ready to come to green, J.R. Shepard is caught right up to that first row as the green flag is out.
It is, and it's more of the same. Mike Holloway on the hammer, gets down to 1 first. Brian Dean does another great job on the restart of getting there before J.R. Shepard puts himself into second. Oh, and they're already mixing it up there at the back. Todd Liston was really, really hot getting into 4. He paid with it. He paid by losing that spot to Chris Piscini.
Yeah, a lot of double file all the way back from about 6th on back, it looks like.
Yeah, and Liston seems to be the one that's really losing out right now. He just stuck up there in the top, and everybody else is kind of just running him through on the bottom. It's in a bit of a battle with Kibbe, though.
Saw that same thing from Todd Liston in his heat race. He got stuck on the outside early, but within 20 laps, I believe it was 3rd place that he fought back to.
You know what? Things falling into place for Mike Holloway right now. I think about the last 2 restarts, the fact that he's been at the front, that he's been able to pull away. This is everything he talked about in our interview. This is exactly what he wanted to do, just lead the race. That was his strategy.
Yeah, things looking good for the leaders right now. One factor or variable that we haven't seen yet tonight, but we're definitely going to see it if we stay green, is a lap traffic. 2/5 of a mile track, you're definitely going to get some lap traffic. It's going to be very interesting to see if that will open up opportunities for Brian Dean, J.R. Shepard, or Chris Piscini, or anyone else to catch right up to Mike Holloway.
Man, they've been good here since that last restart. Everybody behaving. We got a battle for position back here, though, back in the field. And it's Donnie Moore picking up another one. Now he's threatening Lowell Jewell. Donnie trying to recover here. He just got by Tim Shinoski. Shinoski fighting back on the inside as Donnie's car got a little tight there in 2. And Shinoski's going to take it back for the top side. That is the battle for right now. Well, that's the battle for 11th. Lowell Jewell up in front of him trying to pass Todd Liston for 9th. Lowell Jewell picks up his 4th spot here in this race. So Lowell now in a 9th. Here comes Shinoski. Tim. All of a sudden, Liston's car, not good. Not good at all.
Liston must have a magnet attached to the wall in him because he's been stuck on that outside so much in the first 42 laps tonight.
And we got a slow car on the bottom there, and I think that's Justin Allen. He's had some sort of a problem, and I'm seeing damage on the front end of that SK. That's not good. The car very, very slow on track. Everybody passing him now quickly. He's got to try and find the safety of the pit lane. Mike Holloway still got to clean up front, though. Nothing in front of him for a while. Brian Dean still the man chasing him. J.R. Shepard now back a whole 1 second for Brian Dean.
Piscini right on the bumper of J.R. Shepard. From the time we dropped the green flag on this restart right up until now, he's been right there with him. Not losing track of him yet.
Here's the problem with running behind J.R. Shepard right now, though. His connection to this server does not seem to be very stable, and boy, I want to look for an opportunity to just get around him as quick as I can because, well, like what happened in that earlier caution flag, you never know where that car's going to reappear. And that's a really tough thing for a driver to have to deal with when you don't know, and that's not a given.
Yeah, it's the pros and the cons of following him right now. Yeah, you can learn something from a veteran, should I say, legend of this league right now, but you also got to watch out for that connection. And now we see him just a little bit laying further back than he has been before, it looks like.
Well, JR was wide that time on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, he caught right back up to him.
Yeah, it didn't touch the wall, but it certainly killed his momentum. And here comes Piscini now. Piscini all over J.R. Shepard.
Also noticing back up front, Holloway has been able to pull away a couple tenths in the last few laps away from Brian Dean. Dean was about 3 or 4 tenths right behind him, and now he's fallen back to about 6 tenths.
Oh, Piscini using the old modified Bible there. He's starting to diamond the car off. He did it in 1 and 2, and he got a heck of a run there at J.R. Shepard. He did it a little bit there. Look at it. He gets great corner exit. A little bit higher in a groove, then drives it down the track. Pulls himself right up to the bumper of J.R. Shepard. Running that line just a little bit different, looking for a little bit more advantage every lap.
Yeah, if you're going to experiment with different lines to see where you want to be near the end of this thing, now's the time to do so, as we are already over a third of the way through this thing.
Yeah, we're not far from the halfway point, in fact.
Yeah.
So we'll be there in just a moment. Even with the 3 caution flags we've picked up, the racing has been intense, and we've been focusing on this battle between JR and Chris Piscini. There's another great battle going on right behind. James Lowe had picked up all those positions early, is still fighting. Oh, Piscini making a move now up in front, and just as he tried to do that, JR has a blink in the connection, and Piscini decides to back out of that run, playing it safe. We'll go back to James Lowe and Kibbe, this battle that they're having right now. Lowe had picked up all those positions. Oh, and we're back. Hang on, back to the battle between Piscini and J.R. Shepard. He's there at the line. Piscini's got the inside. JR's trying to keep it ahead on the outside. So far, so good. And Piscini's car does not like it down there on the line, Nick.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't. That might be a little bit of tire conservation early, or it might just be that he's more comfortable finding a little more speed up on the higher line. Whatever it may be, it's working. He's still, after all these laps, right on the back bumper of JR there. But now it seems like he is closer than ever, as you saw him tap the brakes there a little bit to avoid JR blinking. But whatever he's doing, it's working. He's just got to try to find a way to get around him.
Well, hopefully Chris is taking some notes out of the old Wayne Anderson playbook and has got something up his sleeve here as we now approach. We are at the halfway point of this race. Folks, I told you it wouldn't take long. They are blistering Southern National Motorsports Park tonight.
Yeah, and Mike Holloway still leading up front by about 0.6. Brian Dean fell back a little bit, and now he's started to just barely lap by lap reeling back in, as he actually lost quite a bit on that last lap, just as I say that.
Mike Holloway got to be feeling a little bit like Babe Ruth about now. He called his shot, and he's working it. He's catching up on the back of the field, though. And, boy, that's going to be a problem. He's got to clear these guys. Got to clear them cleanly. I don't know if we've talked about what Brian Dean has done enough. I mean, Dean has continued to hang with him. He's not letting him pull away too far. Dean's restarts have been phenomenal.
Piscini is right back to the inside of J.R. Shepard right now. And he just barely got edged out there.
Yeah, JR, the salty old vet, and of course, 21-time champion, knows a thing or two about disrupting somebody's run, and it seems like that's what he's doing now. Now the battle behind them continuing to heat up. Kibbe has gotten to the inside of James Lowe. Those two almost get contact off of 2. Kibbe
yeah, really
got to get into 3 first. Yeah. Oh, Lowe gets a bit of the concrete there. Oh, big and you've got to go back up to Piscini.
Yeah, big run there by Piscini into the turn. And I think he hesitated a little more again.
Well, he did, and JR had another braking connection, but more importantly, Piscini's car seems very, very tight when he's got to get all the way to the bottom there on exit.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to take any risks there on the inside. It's a lot harder to hold your line when you got anyone, let alone J.R. Shepard, onto your outside. But just over halfway through here, with about 55 laps to go or so, we really want to keep the car clean as he goes back down to the inside.
That may have been it. JR actually made contact with the wall, and no, Piscini's car tightens up again down there on the bottom. They still find themselves side by side, but he might be making gains here. Piscini going to come across the line, and no, he's going to still sit in 4th place, but now this has turned into a real side-by-side battle. And Piscini decides to give up on it for now. Maybe take a break on the tires. Piscini's really got to worry about John Hine. Hine and Kibbe have picked up these two.
Yeah, Piscini really struggling on corner exit there when he was underneath J.R. Shepherd, and I don't think this long run we still have left to go on these tires is going to help that too much.
How long? 50 laps at the line when Mike Holloway hits it.
Holloway slowly pulling away from Brian Dean. He's almost got that out to about a second.
I must have jinxed Brian. I've given him credit for having such a great run, but they have gotten through a little bit of traffic, not much. They did have to pass Matt Shanoski. So that might have attributed a little bit to the time he lost there.
Another thing Dean might be doing, he might be noticing that J.R. Shepherd is having to hold off Piscini and battling. Dean might be taking advantage of this time to try to conserve some tires and hold back a little bit.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, to be honest. He may have looked into his relative and realized, hey, you know what? I'm okay if I take a few laps off here. If I can get 20 more laps out of my tires late, this is a good gamble right now. And back behind, right now, I'd say for all practical purposes, Piscini is just backed off. And it just wants nothing of J.R. Shepherd right now other than just to keep himself ahead of John Hine. Let's check in on Donnie Moore. Donnie, of course, was involved in an incident earlier. He's had to pit, but he's up to 11th. He's hanging in there. In fact, he's challenging Lowell for another position.
Donnie Moore getting some great runs off the corner there. Getting right up to the back bumper of Lowell Jewell as he goes down to the inside.
Yeah, Lowell gets a little hot, little high into the turn, and Donnie takes advantage of that. That's another one up the ladder for Donnie. He's up to 10th. He started this race on the 2nd row in 4th. Can he get back there with just now 43 laps to go? The leader stuck in more traffic, having to get around. Mike Holloway trying to get a pass done now on Jim Franks.
Yeah, pending we stay green, this lap traffic is only going to get heavier and heavier for Holloway to get around it. And it's only going to open up more and more opportunities for Brian Dean to catch up. We saw him get from 9/10 of a second to 6/10 of a second there. And Holloway in trouble.
Uh-oh!
Dean.
Franks! Oh, and Dean gets into the back of Franks. No caution, but Dean did hit the back of Franks. And here comes J.R. Shepherd up through the middle.
Wow.
He split him. J.R. disappears for just a moment. Piscini still stuck in this. He's a watcher right now. Dean back to the hammer. Does it pretty quickly. Car's got a little bit of front end damage on it, and the yellow's out. And, oh no. Frank's involved in another incident, but I think that one, he had a little bit of help, and it might have been for Matt Shanoski. I saw a little bit of the chrome horn displayed. We'll keep an eye on this incident here on the replay. Matt Shanoski in the double aught.
Franks was blocking a little bit on the straightaway, which didn't help his corner exit too much, or corner entrance, I should say.
Right, and that's the leader coming through there. Mike Holloway just getting through all that. So Mike has a moment on track where he thought maybe this was all over. A couple cars coming in. Brian Dean is one of them. Mike Allen is another. They're waiting for everybody to come out. Well, that's going to shake things up a little bit.
And
now Mike Holloway
on the outside too.
Yeah, and now Mike's got to deal with that. Now, to Mike's advantage, listen, he's had great restarts. So if he can clear it, get ahead of Shepherd going into one, make it decisive, I think he's going to be okay. Chris Piscini up as high as he's been. He'll restart on the inside. He's got a chance to follow Mike Holloway into one and maybe even get himself under and past J.R. Shepard. So, big deal here. John Hine up 11 spots. He'll get to start on the outside of that second row.
Yeah, this might be Piscini's best chance to get around J.R. Shepard. He's going to be right to his inside, and all he has to do is follow Mike Holloway and not get into Shepard on the outside.
All right, here we go. The lights are out. That means it's time for the pace car to pull off the track. Mike Holloway is on it, and he's clear. Across the line, it's Mike Holloway into one. Our leader. And a great job, Piscini, to already get to the inside of J.R. Shepard. Shepard's got no place to move down. Advantage Mike Holloway as continues to walk away here. Piscini keeps putting the pressure down low. We know his car doesn't like it down there, though. This is going to be a tough ask to clear J.R. Shepard. Shepard is not going to let him go. Things really stacked up between these two.
Yeah, and it might stack up the rest of the field right behind him.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, actually, is the stack up back here being led by John Hine. And there's Kenny Kirby. All the way up on the outside was Jeff Martin in the 73. I'm sorry, Jeff Sharp. I think Sharp actually got a piece of the wall there. But this fight up front is still intense as Shepard tries to hold off the advances here of Chris Piscini. And Piscini has got the spot. He officially owns third for the moment.
I think Holloway's grinning ear to ear looking in his mirror right now, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I'm sure Mike was not entirely upset to get that caution, to be honest with you. Now he doesn't have to deal with traffic. He's got a clear path to the end of this race with 27 laps to go at the line. Mike's just got to stay in it, keep his foot in it, keep running that great line he's been running all race. But, man, Piscini, Shepard now for half a dozen laps at least, side by side through every turn of this track. And the two behind him are getting quite a show with John Hine and James Lowe there.
Yeah, James Lowe's car actually seems to be handling real well right now. He's been using up the outside lane of the track.
Another mistake by Piscini. Again, the car way too tight down low. That just seems to kill his momentum every time. Nick, I'll tell you what, Tim Shinofsky is back here starting to make a little bit of a run. He's fighting with Jeff Sharp at the moment, but Shinofsky seems to have picked things up here as he knows the laps are ticking away.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are in the same situation. Piscini and Shepard have been in all race when you're just side by side and just can't quite get the corner exit, but you get too much of a run not to try to make a pass on the inside.
Well, Piscini now falling back. He got up to the outside. He's got John Hine getting past him now. Also James Lowe. I'm afraid Piscini's tires might have started to go away on him a little bit sooner than he wanted him to. Shepard up there has picked things back up, opening up to a 3/4 of a second advantage. And all of a sudden, Shepard's car is starting to look fast again. With now just 19 laps to go at the stripe, he is faster than Mike Holloway at the moment.
One driver I've been watching here is 3 wide behind Lowe. Piscini right outside the wall, in trouble behind them.
Oh boy. And it was the 14 car, Kenny Kibbe, in the middle. He's going to get between Shinofsky and Piscini. He makes the contact with Shinofsky. He's going to get into Piscini. Piscini's going to wrap the wall, and then Kibbe is going to come back across and hook Tim Shinofsky. And a late caution here is going to bust things all up, including equipment. Yeah,
Piscini has had a handful the last 5 or 10 laps with his car. He just came down pit road. I'm sure he was begging to get some more tires, but he can't do that, as Piscini's going to have to manage just a few more laps on those tires, along with everyone else up front.
Okay, so we got a great question in the chat. I really want to answer this because it does look odd. So these cars are set up purposely to be offset, okay? The left wheels tucked in and the right wheels stuck out to the right. Now, they don't stick out any further than a Nerf bar. That's part of the rules, okay? But they do, again, the axles are offset on the modified because they specifically run short track ovals and a few longer ones. They'll run the half mile. They even run the monster mile at Dover. But that is this car's bread and butter. This is how it handles. If you even look at the right front on these cars, the massive amount of camber, as you look back there at Lowe's car, you can see the massive amount of camber on the right front of these cars. That's part of the science of a modified, of an open wheel modified. They have been like this, quite frankly, they've been like this since sometime around the late 60s, early 70s, when they went to the more open wheel style like you're seeing now. I mean, honestly, modified started as jalopies, your old 34 Fords and Pontiacs and Chevrolets, and the green flag back out. Here we go. And it's a crazy start.
John Hine on the inside. Got a great restart. A lot of beating and banging and trouble behind him, but we stay green as Shepard is stuck on the outside.
Well, it's still the same up front. Mike Holloway is able to do his damage in the clean air. And next time he comes around, it'll be for 10 laps to go. Jeff Sharp is all of a sudden a factor. He is making a big move on J.R. Shepard. Sharp looking to get to the podium all of a sudden.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Shepard knew where he was coming from.
Oh, man. Oh, baby. This is going to get tense. Jeff Sharp really would love to take this spot away from J.R. Shepard. J.R. Shepard didn't have any of it right now. J.R. been fighting that connection issue the whole race, but he has managed to survive and stay in this thing. But the podium spot, third, right now belongs to Jeff Sharp. And there may be another spot for J.R. to lose, because here comes James Lowe. Nothing changed with the leader. Mike Holloway continuing to open things up. Lowe has a problem. And Brian Dean gets contact from Kenny Kibbe. He's trying to hang on to it. They're 3 wide into 3, and it doesn't work. And Kibbe is going to get around, and that is going to bring out another caution flag.
And a lot more trouble behind them, as that caused a huge stack up. And it looked like Tim Shinoski, I believe, was the one that went completely around.
Oh, backs up to the wall there and right in front of whose car was that? We're on board here with Tim Shinoski. Matt's got the blue hood. Tim's got the white. And boy, Tim really gets away with them there, and then he gets hooked. Backs it into the wall.
Just a classic Saturday night modified looking wreck there.
We're going to be real challenged to get this race restarted right now. Mike Holloway finds himself sitting at the front. When they come across the stripe, there's going to be 3 to go now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we have a one-lap shootout or...
I don't think the lights are going to go off yet. I think they're going to go off next time around, which will leave us with a one-lap shootout.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what Jeff Sharp's going to be able to do inside row 2. He's had a quiet night, but he's quietly fought his way up. Started 14th, he's up to 3rd. Going to be interesting to see if he's got anything for the leader.
And And the lights are off. So here we go. The lights are off. John Hines got a legitimate shot to win this race. He finds himself up front with J.R. Shepard behind him. Jeff Sharp, who's made up major ground here in the closing laps of this race, but it all belongs to Mike Holloway right now. He gets to restart this race. They're off of 4. Pace car's in. We're green and we're away. Mike Holloway. Hines. Great restart on the outside. Has he got enough? And they're wrecking behind him. And forget it. It's the white flag lap. Holloway digs into 3. He's going to dig out of 4. And he's going to come across the line and win the 3rd annual champion shootout here at the Bootleg Racing League. Great finish for Holloway. Hine with the 2nd place. And Jeff Sharp, man, hangs on to 3rd. Was able to keep J.R. Shepard off the podium. J.R. Shepard is going to be denied. The 21-time champ is going to be denied here at Southern National Motorsports Park tonight. What a race. We are going to take a quick break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll come right back, give you the results. Probably get a few drivers that are going to want to talk to us, so hang on tight. We'll be right back in a moment. You are watching the Global SimRacing Channel, and you just saw, and if you just joined us, you missed out, but you can watch it in replay. The Bootleg, the Bootleg Modified Series, running their 3rd annual champion shootout tonight here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Let's go to the results. What a crazy finish. It was a 1-lap shootout that Mike Holloway is going to win over John Hine. Jeff Sharp going to finish 3rd. Hits 11 spots he picked up to get there. A 3rd going to go, or I'm sorry, 4th going to go to J.R. Shepard. Disappointing night for him. James Lowe, got to be excited about his race. He makes it into the feature and he finishes in the top 5. Donnie Moore, 6th place finish for him. Chris Piscini, man, he was really running for the podium finish and got wrapped up in that last incident. Unfortunate for him. He'll finish 7th in the Eastports feed. Number 15 SK Modified. Todd Liston, he picked up 10 spots. He'll finish 8th. Kenny Kibbe, 9th, and Lowell Jewell, the boss, is going to round out the top 10. Nick?
Yeah, 11th place, Sarah Maria Spiller with a nice run there, and Mike Allen right behind her in 12th. Finishing row 7, Ben Izenga and Brian Dean, who caught some trouble there in the race, but had a great run up until then. Mark Herzog behind them in 15th. 16th is going to go to Matt Shinosky. Jim Franks in 17th. Tim Shinosky, rough night for the Shinosky brothers there, both finishing 5 and 6 laps down there. Tim's going to finish 18th, and Justin Allen had trouble all night, it seemed like. He's going to round out the field in 19th.
All right, 19 cars, 19 drivers. Had a lot of fun tonight. This has been an exciting tournament, but there can only be one. And if you get that reference, good on you. But Mike Holloway, Mike, I called you Babe Ruth. You called your shot, man. You called your shot, Mike. You called your shot.
Well, it's always nice to get a win, but I really didn't think it was going to go like that.
Well, but you said race out front. You raced out front, and it was all about the restarts for you. What were you doing that had the guys sleeping on you? Your restarts were awesome.
You know, I don't know. I really didn't feel like I was doing anything different than what I was doing, you know, on a normal basis, but whatever it was working out.
Well, you kept J.R. Shepard in the mirror. In fact, you guys managed to keep him off the podium. Was that a joint effort by everybody in the league to keep him off the podium tonight, or what?
I don't know what happened to him. He was there, and I saw he in my mirror. He got wrecked, or he got together with somebody. I'm not sure what happened there, but it seemed like he just never was a factor after that. He got back up there a little bit, but he just kind of fell back again.
Well, in your mirror is probably where you want him. So good on you.
Absolutely.
Mike, you are the champion of the 3rd annual champion shootout. Congratulations. And sporting some really cool colors. The number 5 Napa SK modified. I got to admit, pretty hot looking, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. This is my first ride in this paint scheme and with the number 5, and kind of like the way it's starting out here.
Yeah, I seem to remember that the number 5 used to be driven by old Jewel, and he's driving the number 3 now.
Yeah, that is correct. I was in the 31 for a long, long time, and well, we just decided I guess we'd shake things up and made a little bit of a swap. And like I say, I kind of like the mojo it's putting off right now.
You know, I seem to remember a time when Lowell Joe was running the 55, and I think it was something to do with age, some sort of association that he didn't appreciate. And, he went down to the 5, and now he's in the 3. So Lowell's going backwards.
Sean. Yeah, you just leave me out of that one.
Okay. Mike, congratulations. Looking forward to seeing you here in season 4 when we get started next week, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, and that is Mike Holloway, our winner this evening here, the champion shootout. Really, really happy for him. He's obviously excited, probably going to go celebrate a little bit. Nick, you've caught up with John Hine, who I'm sure is just really happy to have the second tonight.
Yes, I have, and I can't blame him for being happy for having second. You know, John, we mentioned you there at the end of the race, saying, you know, you were in the right place, right time, had a great run. But what we didn't give you enough credit for was you started this race 15th. It is not easy to pass 13 cars in 125 laps here. What was that like, fighting your way up to the field tonight?
Just exhausting. I was surprised we kept creeping up, and it just like the interview we did earlier, just trying to keep the tires under it, keep out of trouble, and see where we're at the end. And towards the end of that race, we were in the right spot. Yeah,
I can imagine physically exhausting for sure. How important did tire conservation there for you come into play at the end? We saw a lot of guys that were running up front a lot of the race and fell back to just outside the top 5 because, you know, they were just too hard on their tires, it seemed like. How much of an advantage did that play in for you?
I think it was a huge advantage because early on in the race, even Holloway and JR and those guys were a little bit quicker than me, and towards the end I was kind of even with them, so that had to play a big part of it.
Awesome. Well, we had quite the show from up here. I'm sure you had an even better view down from your SK Modified there in the number 21. Any sponsors or family, friends you want to thank? Anyone you want to give a shout out to here before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank Ted and Scott and Trevor and all those guys over at the Stars on Dirt. They helped me out a lot with a lot of stuff going on here with my wheel settings and things like that, and it just it's been a big help. Also want to thank Lowell for putting this on every year. He does a lot of work to make this series go round and round, and we thank him a lot. And hey, and welcome back, guys. We're glad to have GSRC back with us, and we thank you guys for doing the broadcast.
Yes, thank you there, and we are definitely glad to be with you guys once again. Hopefully we will talk to you in the near future, maybe down in Victory Lane sometime.
Yes, sir. I hope so. Y'all have a good week, and thanks everybody for watching.
All right, Nick, that's John Hine, and boy, we've got a complete podium to talk to tonight. Everybody hanging around, celebrating, having a good time, and now it is time to talk to Jeff Sharp. And I've got really just one big question for Jeff. Where the heck did you come from there at the end, man?
I got a couple breaks there at the end.
Man, that was pretty cool. It kind of opened up for you, and you managed to finish third. I mean, you started all the way back there, man. That was 14th you started tonight.
Yeah, I had a few restarts on the outside and couldn't get far. The outside started working towards the end, but then I had the 2 restarts on the inside where I could grab a bunch of spots.
It seemed like if you were too far down on the inside, the car would really tighten up a lot, especially off the exit. Was I right in seeing that?
Yeah, you really had to hit that apex perfect. I hit the wall once, and I wasn't sure if I hurt my car, but it held out to the end.
Well, fortunately, with the modified, you can get away with that a couple of times. Brushing the wall, not plowing it down, but the car looked really good there in the closing moments of the race, Jeff. You've got to be really, really excited to come home with a 3rd place in this big race tonight.
Yeah, I really miss running with Bootleg and the guys. Appreciate all Lowell's doing and you guys running the show here tonight.
Yeah, hey, listen, we're tickled to be back, Jeff. Are you going to be with us for season 4? Are you going to be able to get out and race with us?
My schedule's changed, but I'll do any special races I can with the guys.
Well, hey, listen, again, hats off to you, man. Great run tonight. Anybody you'd like to thank before we move on?
You guys, Lowell, for running the league, all the racers, and, of course, my wife for letting me race.
Well, we appreciate your wife for letting you race too, Jeff. It's been a good time. We'll see you down the road, hopefully back on the track really soon. Be good, my friend.
Yes, sir, Sean. Thank you.
All right, and that's Jeff Sharp. 3rd place finish for him tonight. Nick, you picked up an interesting piece of information tonight about Jeff Sharp.
Yeah, we said you mentioned he had a very quiet night. One thing I was looking at in the detailed race results, he only had 2 incident points, which was actually the least of anyone. So not only did he have to aggressively fight his way up there, but he did it cleaner than anyone else.
It must have been that one time he brushed the wall. Might have been the only 2 incident points he picked up. So great run for Jeff Sharp. And again, that was the shocker at the end to see the 73 there. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, where did he come from? And so, listen, Nick, thanks, man. It really great working with you tonight here in the Bootleg Racing League. This has been a tremendous event this evening. We're happy to have brought it to you, but it is time to put a pretty bow on it and call it a night here. You know, we do want to remind you that the Bootleg Outlaw Modified Series starts next Saturday night, September 29th, round 1 from 5 Flags Speedway. That's right, we're starting at 5 Flags under the lights. Be here with us next week, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. We go live. So forget what I said earlier. Remember, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got 11 races to bring you in the Bootleg Outlaw Modified Series. You want more information about them, go to bootlegracingleague.com. All the information about the series, how you can join. Remember, they're running street stocks and limited late models. It's going to be a great season. Those 2 series aren't broadcast, but we'll always bring you that modified race on Saturday nights, and we're really excited to be back with the Bootleg Racing League. But we do want to thank them for organizing the Outlaw Modified Series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast their races. For more information about them, like I said, you go to bootlegracingleague.com. You can find them on Facebook too. Just type in Bootleg Racing League. They'll pull up for you, okay? Now, we do want to thank the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen now and that we always use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. In fact, in the description of this broadcast, there's a link for Eric Ekholm's YouTube channel. Go give him a sub. Check out his stuff. Really, really talented artists, both of them. I can't believe I just said artists. And check those out. Now, the original, of course, I want to thank my partner tonight, Nick Schmink, for coming in and working with us. Really enjoyed it, Nick. Our director, Joe Peak, and the visionary, Dougie Beard, for his camera locations that he always provides us with. You know, to find out more about GSRC, find us at the at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook, type in Global Sim Racing Channel over there, and Instagram, GSRT_Graham. Get over there. We post a lot of cool pictures. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.